Hey, T-Sippers. It's a lot going on, y'all. But it's always a lot going on with this Diddy trial, right? That's where we gonna start. Start, baby. They say Jane Doe is the talk. She talking, she telling. Why all these girls think they the ones, they in love, and Diddy gonna change his way? Why do they believe everything this man tell them? Y'all come on in, hit the like button. Let's get it crunk. Let's get it started. Oh, let's get it started. Oh. I don't even know where to start. Ooh, and Roger Bonds. Hey, Tracy. Happy Friday, AunTeaFee and the rest of. Please hit the like button for this old crazy lady. Stop right in the middle of some good stuff. Cause she will. I got 2 or 3 things going on at the same time. I'm gonna start with the meltdown. I'm gonna start with Tisa, cause she gonna be back real soon. I'm sure.
This is light better here.
And people are trying to
think this is better.
Infiltrate
on, everybody? Listen,
and give
what's going on at the Sean Diddy Combs trial. I know I'm
can y'all hear her?
A new camera, but we are going to actually do this. You guys, what is going on in the Sean Diddy
50
Combs
Cent.
trial? There is so much happening. The first thing that's happening that nobody actually wants to talk about is, hold on, guys. Okay, good morning, everybody. Listen,
can y'all hear her?
Just continues, okay? If you guys don't know, right? Jane Doe testify. We are going to call her Jeannie.
Baby, they say she finna flip the script on all of it.
The Jane Doe is not who anybody expects.
Hey, plus size.
None of Diddy's former or current girlfriends, as far as I can tell. She is not a public-facing figure. A lot of rumors have been thrown around. She's not a public-facing figure, so I don't think that even...
Ain't none of these people really a public-facing figure.
Regardless of that, the court is under straight orders. I do have to say that if you are in the chat, I'm going to have to block you or remove it. Even if you put your guesses into Super Chat, we are not going to guess, okay? We are just going to...
And we already know who they are guessing.
Let's get into this. All right, listen, there is fallout continuing from what happened with Diddy and the judge in court, okay? The Diddy...
I hope he put his ass out, y'all.
No, thank you. We have been working...
I hope today he pulled that power, ego.
Put a little extra effort into every
what did I just do?
The brisket on a barbecue brisket steak burger, it smoked for 16 hours.
I hope he pull a power move and get put the hell out of court today. I'm gonna tell you that now. What did I do?
No matter what happens at Freddy's, we put a little extra effort into every steak burger we make.
I hope the judge put that ass out.
This is light better here. I think this is better. What's going on, everybody? Listen, we need to talk about what's going on. Nobody actually wants to talk about is, hold on, guys. The first thing that is happening that nobody wants to talk about is what's going on with Diddy and the judge. Let me get my phone. Look.
I hope he put his ass out. Cause he ain't gonna act right.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Listen,
he don't feel like he have to follow rules.
Continues, okay? If you guys don't know, right? Jane Doe testify. We are going to call her Jeannie. I do want to say this about
Jeannie. Ain't that so close to
Jane
Gina?
Doe is not who anybody expects. It's none of Diddy's former...
Isn't that kind of not giving it away? Calling her Jeannie?
She's not a public-facing figure. A lot of rumors have been thrown around. She's not a public-facing figure, so I don't think that even if somebody said the name, anybody would know who she is. Regardless of that, the court is under.
Is she trying to throw people
I do have
off?
to say that if you are in the chat, I'm going to have to block you or remove it. Even if you put your guesses into Super Chat, we are not going to guess, okay? We are just going to move forward, all right? So let's get into this. All right,
Are you able to hear her?
From what happened with Diddy and the judge in court, okay?
Shout out to Tisa Tells.
If you guys don't know, thank you. We have been working on the transcript front. Thank you so much. I was able to get the transcripts because you guys wanted to know exactly what was said when the judge actually checked Diddy. Let's get into this, all right? He admonished them. But you guys, you have to realize this is also very, very serious. Now, I did a live last night when I pointed out that even after the judge checked him, Diddy was doing these weird power plays. He was getting up after the judge told him, you better sit yourself down before I sit it down. And let me just say this, Judge Aaron has been exceedingly patient. He's been exceedingly patient with the defense. He's been incredibly considerate to the jurors, as like honoring their time and whatnot. So for you to get on Judge Aaron's side, and he's been like literally not being hard on the prosecution, but literally giving clear limits to the prosecution. So when you can get on a judge's bad side, where he is being incredibly
Hold on, I'm trying to fix
it.
it.
Something. Now, one of the things I said is like, wait, so the judge told you earlier to tell your client to knock it off. Your client did not, in fact, knock it off. And if you guys don't know, Diddy nodding and signaling to the jury could be looked at as a form of jury tampering. Now, I don't know if jury would, Diddy would ever and you like have your friend's associate shows up at their house, their loved one house, with paper bags full of cash. And we all know Diddy loves, according to this testimony, paper bags full of cash. Again, it is the beginning of something. At the very an American trial. If the jury has actually spoken to Diddy's team in the past about you need to knock it off, and Diddy still thought he was going to go in there. Now listen, after the judge admonished him, Diddy did this weird alpha male play. We will talk about that. It was weird because at the end of the day, you're asking the judge not for favors, but for extra accommodations. It's outside of what people normally do. You're asking the judge for favors, and you're doing all this, and you are playing in the court's place. Diddy really thinks he is like Kid Cudi said, he thinks he is a goddamn super Bond villain. Diddy thinks he is the smartest person in the room. But at the end of the day, it is what it is, all right? So listen, here's what they actually said, right? They said that... Introducing Wegovy.
All of that, and then we get to a commercial.
20% of your body weight.
Y'all come in, hitting the like button, please. Okay, so the prosecutors raised the topic, right? They said, the prosecutors raised it. They said, our concern is the defendant is testifying by nodding affirmatively in response. Alive, I have to get the truth out. They're trying to do it, sorry, allergies. They're trying to do it through actual, right? Good morning, everybody. They are trying to do it through actual smoke and mirrors. Westmoreland tore me up on the stand. And if you weren't paying attention in court, are y'all able to hear?
On the stand, right? And if you weren't paying attention, you would think that she had her dead to rights. She called her line. The balcony thing didn't happen. They thought they were having another Mia moment. However, if you were in the court and you would hear the sidebars, the jury can't hear the sidebars, but the general public can. And the jury's not supposed to be on social media, so they're not supposed to know this, right? When the sidebar happened, there was a text message they were trying to get admitted for September 30th, 2016. Bonda said this happened on September 26th. Yes, the day might have been off a day or two. It happened 20 years ago. But in that text message, Cassie was yelling at KK, saying, Diddy is crazy. This is why I have to stay away. He showed up at the door while my friends were sleeping, ringing the doorbell, acting crazy. He broke into the house, right? And then he dangled her feet off of my balcony and then threw her in the furniture. Cassie was screaming at KK, this is why Diddy's crazy, and this is why he has to stay away. There is a text message from how many years ago? 8 years ago, proving it happened exactly the way. And Miss Moreland knew that text message exists, and she knew it was going to be
Can y'all hear? I'm finna start over because I don't think y'all can hear. No one is responding.
After break, once Bronner had left, they knew it was going to be admitted after break, okay? And they still pressed on, and they still did it. On top of that, and I was just looking like, yo, this is actually really, really evil. I know you got to get this man off, but can we acknowledge that you guys are not trying to win with the truth? You're just trying to plant seeds of doubt in the jury. There was another issue where there was a guy, Rob Holiday. If you guys don't know who Rob Holiday is, he used to be one of Bonner's closest friends, but he was friends with Diddy before he was friends with Bonner. And Rob Holiday literally called her 3 days after this alleged incident while he was with Diddy and tried to settle with Bonner. He tried to settle with Bonner. So let me just say this, right? They're trying to say it didn't happen. Diddy tried to settle, and they said that settlement was north of $1 million, but they wanted her to settle maybe without a lawyer. Who knows?
Cut the volume up on your end.
Cheap, who was only paying Jenny, that's the date.
Everybody else can hear except you.
Only paying that girl, victim number 2.
If you can barely hear, cut your volume up. Control your own volume.
The escorts were getting paid more than these girls. Only paying $10,000 a month. He's notoriously cheap, right? You're telling me that he was offering to settle for north of $1 million. You're telling me that Cassie was screaming at KK about this mofo's crazy, keep him away, but yet you were in front of the jury the whole time. And while that was happening, Diddy was nodding at the jury every time Westmoreland said something like, "Is it not true? You lie to this jury," and you know that she was telling the truth, and you Diddy in the back. And baby, we already said that we do have concerns about the jury, okay? There are people on the jury that seem like they are buying everything Diddy's defense team is selling, and you only need one person. And they are affirmatively showing through their facial expressions, through their body movements, through everything, that they do not buy anything the prosecution is selling. Now, I do have to say that the jury is not supposed to show anything. They're not supposed to discuss the case among themselves. Yes, they are sitting together, but they are not supposed to interact, discuss the case. They are supposed to listen, and when they get into that room, that's when they pour the evidence and they can actually discuss. So what happened, right? Ms. Smizer said, "I don't have anything more to say on that, but I did." This is USA Attorney Smizer. She said, "Your Honor, let me bring that. I don't have, this is directly from the transcripts, because y'all wanted the full breakdown. And then after I go through this breakdown, we're going to have to get into Diddy's weird alpha male power play that really just had me being like, what's going on?" They said, "I don't have anything more to say on that, Your Honor, but I do want to put on the record, Your Honor, that we understand the defendant is nodding furiously in response to some of the questioning. And so we just wanted to make that clear on record." The court said, outside the presence of the jury, because even the court is Judge Aaron. He was like, wait, like when the jury's not around, right? Because to break one at all, who would be dumb enough to do that? Oh, I also want to give a shout out to Violet Storm. Said, "We had this in BC with Robert Pitcoin with the SK." Thank you so much. That is a good point. That is a good point. Y'all did have that same thing going on. Okay.
Never buy magnesium from the store.
For just a...
Thank you so much. That is a good point. That is a good point. Y'all did have that same thing going on. Okay. Okay. So anyway, the court said, wait, he was doing that like outside the presence of the jury? She said, no, not in the presence of the jury, Your Honor, in response to Miss Westmoreland's questioning. Okay. Then Diddy's lawyer popped up, Shapiro. Your Honor, I think that's what Your Honor was asking of us to take care of. That was my interpretation, to remind Mr. Combs of the court's instructions. How many times are people going to emphasize Diddy? The fact that, Tonya Martin said, "God bless you, T, so proud of you." Thank you. Oh, don't forget ABC Live interview, Nightline, live interview, and there's a lot of cool things coming up too. So thank you so much. If you guys do go watch it, please jump in the comment box and let them know the comments and let them know that you're there to support me. But I really appreciate you guys because you guys did the big one. You guys did the big one with supporting me with that, okay? You guys did the big one, okay? So anyway, how are we gonna act like Diddy don't know the rules? Diddy knows the rules. That's why you are sitting in jail right now. And not only that, they said this isn't the first time that the judge has had to say something privately to Diddy, but he kept on going. Again, Diddy thinks it's his courtroom. And for everybody saying that they don't think Diddy is gonna take the stand, that man is 100% gonna take the stand. Somebody with that type of ego, he is 100%. Anyway, they said, so Judge Aaron says, well, I'm concerned. I'm concerned in both directions of improperly influencing the jury. So what would you propose to put on the record that's in the presence of the jury? Okay? Then again, Miss Comey, that's Maureen Comey, James Comey's daughter. She's really, really good. Said, I really respect her direct and her style. She said, Your Honor, I'm not suggesting that Miss Westmoreland was intentionally trying to do this. I'm suggesting that the defendant is himself trying to take advantage of the leading questions without Miss Westmoreland's knowledge to testify by nodding vigorously yes in response to her questions. Again, when I say this is the foundation of dealing with the jury, you must be human. You don't even need to be American, right? Because federal court deals with foreign lawsuits. You must be human. You must be in the Southern District of New York, and you cannot signal, nod, or do anything to the jury, right? She said, Ms. Shapiro said, Your Honor, I don't think that's fair, but I will. Since I'm sitting at the counsel table, I'll go over to him before the questioning resumes and warn him of Your Honor's admonishment. Earlier that day, he said, I don't want anybody signaling, nodding, or doing anything to the jury, right? Judge Aaron said, all right, let's proceed. So that's how the day started. And how did the day end? Diddy kept pressing. Diddy kept doing this, right? So they said, let me make a record, Mr. Agnifilio, because he kept on doing it. He says, Mr. Agnifilio, I was very clear this morning that there were not to be any facial expressions or other attempts to have any interaction with the jury whatsoever. Any influence on the jury whatsoever. And I could not have been clearer in terms of what I said. You heard me, right? Mr. Agnifilio, Yana, yes, Yana, we heard you. We did, I did. The court, well, there was a line of questioning where your client was nodding vigorously and looking at the jury. And there was a subsequent moment. We had a sidebar, and I looked, and I saw your client looking at the jury and nodding vigorously during that line of questioning. That is absolutely unacceptable. Is it going to happen again, Mr. Arfilio? Yeah, Diana, it's not going to happen again. One proud Army mama said, Morning Sunshine, so proud of you. Have a wonderful, blessed day. You too. Thank y'all so much. And thank y'all for getting up early with me. I hope y'all watching this, at least on replay. Put your earphones in. Your boss ain't talking about nothing. She been on your butt since last Tuesday. Let Jan and accountant do it. Anyway, unless you are Jan and accountant, then let Tammy and sales do it. Okay, right? The court said, no, you don't understand. It cannot happen again. If it happens again, if it happens even worse.
Have you ever seen the magic glasses that can see clearly without glasses? This glasses can not only see far away, but also see near. This smart zoom glasses from Japan are really great. No need to wear lenses. The degree can be used from 100 degrees to 700 degrees. The glasses will automatically adapt to your vision, can see clearly far away and near, and are very comfortable to use. It also has the function of blocking blue light. Even if you watch TV or mobile phone for a long time, your eyes will not feel tired. If your vision is not very good or blurry, you might as well try this glasses. I believe you will love it. The lowest price on the market. Click the link to buy now.
Okay, guys.
Oh, no.
Listen, I already went live like twice today. But this was just really sitting on my head. I was just...
Hold
Or
on.
I guess it wasn't sitting on my head. It was sitting on my heart. So I was like... I kept thinking about, like, what is the irritation for me?
Hold on, y'all.
Testimony today. And I finally have, like, you know, calmed down, gathered myself.
Yeah, I don't like her view. I ain't gonna even lie. Or it's her voice or something. I don't know. Hold on. Let me move that one. Let me see if she's I don't know what that is. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. Let me see what she said. Yeah, it's a lot going on.
Documentation of
Shout out to the infamous Sylvia.
Cassie. Cassie never ever showed any kind of proof of her not wanting.
She thinks that
to
Jane
do
Doe
these
is
free
the
calls.
best
Hey,
witness.
First, you guys know that Jane is on the stand.
Hit the like
This is her
button,
second
please.
day of testimony, and
Hi, Bronwyn
I personally
and
feel
Tammy.
that she is the strongest witness that the prosecutor has, because the certain elements that she definitely right now is providing evidence of those elements. And those elements is the drugs, the DRUG element, forced labor element, coercion element, and those things. And I'm going to give you an example of why I said she is the strongest thing, because number one, remember Cassie. Cassie never ever showed any kind of proof of her not wanting to do these free calls and stuff like that. Well, Jane has text messages of her basically telling him how she feels and not wanting to.
Can y'all
do it
hear?
and how it made her feel. So there she has documented that he was forcing her to do those things. And then and it was coercion, because remember, one of the things that free will, y'all, she has free will of doing whatever she did, but they're saying that he was coercing her to doing that because of the things he was providing. And if she didn't provide it, he would, take those things away. I know folks will get upset about it, but so she is choosing element. And then now, co-conspirator part too is she's proven it, because you know what she said? She went to go pick up the oh my God, somebody calling me while I'm doing this. She went to pick up the DR from security, and KK is one that was part of it. She was a co-conspirator because KK was the one who told her to where come and get in, things like that. She was on the phone with the Krug. Yeah, the Krug. Thank you for the word Krug. So, yeah, so I'm just giving you guys what is being said in the courtroom and how they're putting the pieces together from her testimony. Okay, she's documented how it made her feel, how she did not want to do it any longer, and Cassie did not have anything saying that she didn't want to do it, and then the other young lady didn't show how she didn't want to do it. They just said it, but they didn't have any documentation of them not wanting to do it anymore. You get what I'm saying? But she did. And also, she cried on the stage. She was extremely believable. She was definitely believable. And also, she was still in a relationship with him. And she was seeking She was seeking the love, his attention, his affection. And so he was depriving her of those things, which is a form of coercion, y'all. It's a form of coercion. It may not be direct, but it's some form of coercion, because if she didn't do it, he would take his affection away. She wanted to spend time with him. She wanted to cuddle with him, and she felt she was obligated to doing those things. You're welcome, Holly. She felt obligated to doing those things. And thank you for the super sticker, super chat, whatever that thing is. Who's doing the cross? Tenny is doing the cross. Tony. She's doing the cross for her. And she cried a couple of times on the thing. Here's one other thing I want to tell you guys. This is my observation, okay? You guys know the majority of these young ladies are Asian descendant, you know, from Asian culture, right? And in a lot of those cultures, y'all, women are used as SEX objects, right? And they, okay, for example, I'm gonna just tell you, look, I'm gonna just put me in this situation, right? Now, listen to this, okay? If a man tells me go have sex with this dude here, I'm gonna say, hey, hell to the no. That's just me, you know? And I would be like, hey, you want somebody to have sex with them? You get them and do it them yourself or whatever, right? I would be like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I don't care. But the culture that he chooses, and I think he purposely chooses those women that feel who are seen in their culture as subservient to men. You get what I'm saying? Subservient to men. Subservient to men. Do you understand what I'm saying by that, right? In cultures like that, and I'm talking about the women that we know that he has chosen, those culture. I'm talking about, you know, like the women. Miss Green Eye say, yeah, weak-minded. It just, you know, it's like y'all understand what I'm talking about, right? Right. I'm talking about like Cassie. Isn't Cassie Philippines or something like that? Even the young lady he's with right now, the one who has his daughter Love. You see that type of culture. Submissive. What do you call it, submissive or I call it subservient? You call it submissive? I got a question for you. You call it submissive? Oh, she's mixed. What is she mixed with? Oh, she's Mexican? Okay. But I'm just saying, just those cultures. Well, Americanized women are a little bit. I'm talking about Black Americanized women. We're vocal, but if he got somebody like from Africa or Asia or those kind of culture, it seems like as if they tend to see women as SEX object. Understood. And those women who's rich men because they want to be taken care of and willing to do anything that they... Yes, Stephanie, absolutely. One of the things that my dad taught me when I was younger, get an education, make your own money, and don't depend on no man. You get what I'm saying? And that's what I was taught. That's why I teach my daughter, you know what I mean? So... But other cultures teach their daughters to be dependent on a man to take care of you. Get yourself a rich man, get a sugar daddy. You understand what I'm saying by that? You understand what I'm saying by that? And then there's a cost to that seeking for that sugar daddy, because you're getting these individual who thinks they're God and they treat you like crap. A lot of them treat them like crap. You understand what I'm saying by that?
I gotta roll up trees on the federal court.
Do you get what I'm saying? How is juries reacting to Jane? Jury is definitely listening to her. She has cried on the stand, and her tears are from the heart. That is what I feel. She pulled on my heartstring, and I felt that she was looking for a certain type of thing. She was looking for his love, his affection, and his loyalty to her, and he wasn't giving her. He was using her as an object. You get what I'm saying by that? And y'all know me. I'm very, very neutral in this. I'm very, very neutral. I'm not on anybody's side. I'm just telling you guys a fact of what I see, how she was hurting, how she was looking for him to be that boyfriend, but he wasn't that boyfriend. And she was like taking it and you know what I'm saying? From what I heard, he let her know time and time again he didn't give a darn about how like, hold on, I'm trying to get the things in the way I can't read your message, Tam. So that's what I see right now, y'all. This is what I see. And it's done a lot in people, a lot in the industry. It's done. And I guarantee you there's a lot more women or individuals who are suffering from this because they want to be with these superstars and these athletes and stuff like that. And they treat it like, these people got married. And okay. That was somebody getting married. It's sad to see women doing this to themselves. She said he told her he was dealing with different women. Yeah, y'all. It's sad, but it's sad. Well, so the government he's going to be considered a precedent type of case, because if he is found guilty of these things, that means a lot of men are going to go down, especially these rich men who treat like women like objects. They're going down. Not even in this industry, this type of stuff is happening. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, right. They're going down, y'all. They're going down. And it's the era of women that you can't treat women. And then, but hold up too. The other thing too. Women also has to take responsibility of making sure that you're worth more than just what this man is ditching out. You got to see yourself worth more than just an object for him to use. You're not a trophy. You're a person who has feelings and thinking, and you're smart and all that. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying by that, right? We women have to do better too, as well. You got to do better. She was seeking something he wasn't trying to give. He told her he didn't want a commitment. Why do we do that to ourselves as women? We need to do better. We need mothers and fathers. We need to be teaching our children better things in life instead of becoming subservient to somebody who has money. Know your worth. Exactly, Candace. Know your worth. Know your worth. Exactly. Know your worth. You know, instead of now, I don't know. I got so many opinions I want to say about this, but I got to keep my opinions to myself. Got to keep my opinions to myself. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a mess on all sides, y'all. And I'm telling you, like I told you, y'all, there's a heaviness in this case. It's a very heavy spirit in this case. Yeah, broken men too. Oh, you're welcome, Woodlawn Band Brothers. You're welcome. But I see her being the strongest for the prosecutor. I see her being the strongest for the prosecutor because she's given evidence of all these elements. Yeah. I can see it. I can see some stuff. And I can also still see a hung jury. Because if you're a man on the juror who don't mind that kind of relationship, that you don't mind being a sugar daddy for women, a YouTuber just doxed Jane? What? What? Is this YouTuber in here? Please do not put Jane's name in. Mod, be ready before somebody try to put Jane's name in here, please. Delete it, block it. We do not allow that stuff in here. Please keep an eye out, y'all. Keep an eye out. Make sure nobody put no Jane name in here. I don't even know Jane's real name. So please do not put Jane's name in here. But you said a YouTuber docs Jane. What? Is there somebody in this court? Just say it. Tell me yes or no. There's somebody in this court. Somebody who's here or somebody who's not here? Because we definitely need to put. Oh, okay. Okay. As long as they're not here in this court. Because if they guess it on their own, that's on them. But as long as they are not in this courtroom. Yeah, so that is what's happening. So, anybody, y'all have any questions for me? And I you know what, the prosecutor, Miss Comey, I love her professionalism. I love how she examines the witness. They are very professional. I give it all to the prosecution team. They're not petty. They're not like messy like what I have experienced in YSL. Is Diddy still nodding at the jurors? No, he's not. He's not nodding at the jurors. He's mostly talking to his attorney now. He's not nodding at the jurors at all. How am I doing today? I'm doing fine, Glory. Thank you. Did the prosecution get this one right? I think the prosecutor, they may not. I think, here's my opinion. From listening to Jane today, I could see the pieces coming together. I really could see the pieces coming together. And that's why I see why they wanted her to be on there for 5 days, because she has a lot of information. She has a lot of information, y'all. There was physical violence with Jane. Yes, she spoke about that. You caught him good. I know it's embarrassing, but you didn't fall. You didn't fall. You was good. See you later. I don't think I could have 5 days of testimony. She was with him to the last minute. Yep, she was with him to the end. Yeah, she was with him to the end. It's true Jane is expecting to testify to Tuesday. They said so. She was with him. Yep. Good afternoon. Y'all, she's very strong. She's a strong witness, y'all. She's a very strong witness. You're right. Tawana said not by choice. You said by choice? Yeah, she was with it by choice. Does she want to be there, or was she forced to be there? I think she was subpoenaed, I think they said. What's going on? Who's going to question Tenny? Tenny's going to question her. Not Steele and not Westmoreland, not them. She has a lot of information. She has a lot of information to give to them. and I believe she's strong. She cried a lot on the stand, and she cried, and you could hear the pain that she was in. You could hear the pain that she loves him. She wanted more from their relationship, and it seems like she was forced to doing these things because she wanted him so bad that she was willing to do these things, even though she didn't want to. So it is what it is, y'all. It is what it is. And it's sending a message to powerful, rich men that you can't treat your woman any kind of way. You can't just force something that she initially didn't want to do it, but she's doing it because she wants to be with you. I know you have a choice. She's a grown. Yeah, you're right. She is a grown woman. I could not let no man persuade me. And you know what? Let me tell you, lovely lady, I said the same thing. Thank you for unbiased report. A lot of these YouTubers are biased. I can't listen to their report. I am so unbiased in this trial. Just wanted the facts. And that's all I could do to give you, Tam, too. All I could do is give you the facts. That's all I'm doing. I ain't giving y'all my opinion. I did give y'all my opinion about people from different cultures. But I'm just giving you that because that's what I see. I see it in the African culture, they allow the men to have more than one wives and stuff like that. I see it in the Asian culture where women are seen as not even important in society. I see it in the Muslim culture. I see it in a lot of culture except America. These women want too much from this man, knowing that he has many girlfriends. And y'all, they talk about him having an addiction. He's an addict. He needs help. He's emotionally drained. He's not strong emotionally for these women. And damaged people damage other people. He's damaged. But they think just because he has money, we're not African, we are African American. No, I'm talking about African culture. I'm talking about in Africa. I've been to Africa. They treat women a certain kind of way. And he's a broken individual. Just because somebody has money does not make them emotionally strong. That's so true. Damaged people hurt damaged people. Yeah. He's not emotionally strong. He's lacking a lot of things. And that's the thing, people misunderstand that. People think when somebody has money that they got it all together. No, it just magnifies some of their bad characters. This is when the Bible said the money is the root of all. The love of money is the root. Don't forget about that, Tam. The love of money is the root of all evil. Because people love money. They want it so bad that they're willing to do all kinds of things. They're willing to sell their souls and all that kind of stuff. It's no telling where he's been exposed to growing up. He seems to be very insecure. The love of money, yep. Mentally damaged is dangerous. Yes, Candace, yes. Right. The love of money is the root of all evil. Yep. And that's what caused people to do all kinds of things and willing to accept all kinds of things. You know what I'm saying? If you put God as your source of your financial blessings, you wouldn't have to deal with a lot of that. But, women think we can change them. Oh, Diane, that is one right there. We're going to show that one on there. Women think we could change a man. Yes, they do. Yes, we do. We think we could. Excuse me. The man tell you who he is, and you still be like, I can change him. He doesn't mean that. Oh, you're welcome. What do you think about the freak off video being played in the courtroom? They didn't play it. They didn't play the freak off video. Somebody said they played it. They didn't play it. They only played the audio sound of her saying something about wanting the guy to wear a condom. Okay. I am friends with owner of Pine Needles County Club. here in North Carolina, I was raised up with the owner's children. They became grown. They had everything they wanted but happiness, and they turned to drugs and alcohol. Yep. He is not an attractive man, so money helps him get... Yeah. Oh, y'all so mean. More money, more problems. Hello. Absolutely. Y'all, I'm just saying that... It's sad all the way around. It's sad for the family. You know, I want to bring up something. Do you think he's done, or it's really too early? I think he's going to get, I think they're going to convict him on something. This is my opinion. I don't know how true it is. If they don't convict him, it's going to be a hung jury. It's not going to be a not guilty. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Not going to be a not guilty. If anything, it'll be a hung jury if it's hard to them. But I believe he's going to be convicted of something. I'm just being honest from what I'm hearing now, right? I'm just being honest. I believe he's going to be convicted of something. Because her testimony right now is what, you know me, I'm a hard person to really like buy into a lot of stuff. And not that she's pull on my heartstring, but she showed evidence of her not wanting to do this. She showed evidence of her not wanting to do this. And her not wanting to do this shows that he coerced her, he forced her into doing it, you know? Forcing is just not physically taking it over. It's making them feel that they have no other choice. Even though she do have a choice, because she could have said no and not be in a relationship with him. But it is her choice for wanting to be in a relationship with him. She wanted to be in a relationship with him. Tanika said, I was thinking something hung jury or guilty. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Guilty of something. May not be guilty of everything, but guilty of something. And so far,
everything.
The RICO may stand. I'm just giving you, you know, because they're going by past cases. You got the R. Kelly case, you got the Raniere case, and so they're gonna bring those cases as a backup.
There's indeed a pattern.
Because she's the only one that put it in writing about her not wanting to do it. She told how she felt. And she told how she felt. She basically says, and I feel that I'm being used for only this. You get what I'm saying? She told how she felt. He did too, but it's different because it's somebody other than Cassie. He just said, I want to pay your bill. But she felt coerced. I'm just telling y'all what I see, okay? She had choices. Yes, she had choices. But remember, they say he's a man of influence, of power. You know what I mean? Even though, and then there was an incident where he did some physical harm to her. Listen, y'all. I am one to agree with you guys with what you're saying. In a normal case of a regular people where somebody don't have so much control, so much power over you, I would definitely agree with you guys. But what they're saying is because he's a man of influence, a man of power, a man with money, he is coercing her to doing these things. That's what they're saying. And yeah, they told her she can bounce. And you know what? Let me tell you something. Some of you guys are thinking like this. There are jurors that probably think just like you guys are thinking. And I'm just giving you guys all different angles of everything, okay? I would have left as well too, lovely lady. I'm not that's why, y'all. That's why I went and got an education. I took care of my child by myself till she was grown. And I didn't rely on any man for anything. And so I'm not one to...
I told y'all that's why they don't want...
to some of the stuff that she's
go down,
doing.
because a
You know
lot
what
of
I mean?
these rappers
I'm
are
not
going
one
to
to
be hit
relate
with
to
the
that
same thing.
because
That's what Boosie was saying, that they going to get them behind
she's
on
nearly
the back
40 with a
end.
child, and she needs to be more responsible. Yeah, I am not denying that. I agree with y'all. I am not fighting anybody in that. That's a typical girlfriend-boyfriend relationship. So every time a man and a woman hold something over their partner, it's a crime, conspiracy. That's the way it's going to be. That's the way it's going to be done if they allow this to happen. I live with my man, and he don't tell me how to spend his money. Can they retry him if there's a hung jury? Yes, they can. But you know what? The government will see that as a loss, so it may not go through it because it's going to spend more money to do it. And we'll see. He might decide to take another plea deal and do something else.
The feds will.
If she is so weak-minded, how is she making decision for her children? Well, good point. That part.
Let's be clear.
So these women don't have no accountability.
Let's be clear. People are getting it twisted. The state will probably not retry it, but the feds will. And the feds will get you. The feds is going to get you. They will retry it. Okay? And then they're probably going to add more, because there is more. They didn't add the kids, and we know that there are kids. It's a wrap. And yes, the feds will retry it. Absolutely. Maybe not the state, but the feds, yes.
For the action come, some women are sisters as well. Yes to one, and you're all right. That is why I want my own money. Yeah, me too, lovely lady. That's why I want my own money. No sugar daddy for me, y'all. But now, I mean, if somebody giving up their money and I do what I want to do, that's different, y'all, okay?
A narcissist is a no.
I ain't gonna say I ain't gonna take the money now. I'm gonna take the money. But if I don't want to do something, I'm not gonna do it.
No.
What your show last night? Yes, there are demonic spirits down there. Weinstein verdict came going down today. Oh wow! Is the verdict coming?
They retried him. I mean, he got a second trial.
Hello, you guys.
So why people don't think
no, I just came out early to tell you guys what I thought. What's going on? But they're probably going to lunch at 12 o'clock. So many women not responsible for their own action. That's the way to try to make it women like weak.
Well, the men ain't either.
And then using this, the government's gonna have her on there until Tuesday. Mm-hmm. She says no. She says she should be done by, well, the first part should be done by to Monday, she said. If not, but then, defense gonna go question her next. She might be here until Thursday. I don't know. So she documented it on her. I have her convenience set up. Oh, I feel obligated to my wife because if I don't take out the garbage, I don't. Benny, so you might have to do a case against your wife. So quit or convict. Yeah, I'm going to use the money, but I'm not going to do any of that mess. Me neither. I don't have a dog in the fight, but this case makes me sick. These women are preying upon men, not vice versa. This happened every day. These women want the fame, money, and a spot. Ooh. I believe she's in custody battle. Oh, y'all, do not come in here giving the person's information because you guys, I'm going to block y'all. I'm serious. Mama, phenomenal mama, please do not bring anything about this lady. I don't know nothing about this lady. Don't come in here putting anything in this chat. I'm going to delete your message because I don't know what battle she's in or whatever she's in. I am not going to be part of that. Do not bring that stuff in my chat. Don't bring that stuff in my chat. Do not say nothing about the lady. Okay, you, Randy, you being blocked because you're not coming in here with that mess. Nope. Don't come in my chat with that mess. I'm telling you, I'm being blocked. I'm gonna block every single one of y'all. Don't come in here with that. I don't want to hear about nobody, nothing having to do with this alleged victim. I'm not. Don't do that. Don't come in here. Minds, be ready to block anybody that's bringing any reference about this woman, any information about her. Block them, because I don't want them coming back to say something else. Because they'll say one thing and start repeating it. Repeat it, y'all. Block them. Block them, block them, block them. Please block them. Because I am not going to be caught with the judge saying Sylvia Tumasimi is banned from this court. I'm not. So for phenomenal woman, don't do it. Or she's going to get blocked. I'm serious. I'm serious because the judge gave an order, and I am not going to violate the judge's order, okay? I am not going to violate. All right, Tawana, I just told you not to say stuff like that. Block her. Tawana, I told you not to say stuff like that. Please don't do that. You just went in there and just put this in. Don't do that. I told you I do not put stuff in here. Good morning. Y'all don't do that in here. Please don't do that. I told y'all the judge has given an order. Do not come in my chat. Do not say nothing about this woman. I do not care to hear anything or what y'all think. The judge has given an order. Do not come in my chat with that stuff. I'm telling y'all, don't. Ashley, I'm telling them not to put, they coming in here putting stuff about this woman in my chat. Do not put, the judge has given an order, and I am not going to violate any kind of order from the judge. Do not put any information. Do not put whoever her mate is or not. Don't put nothing. I don't want to hear nothing. And mods, block. I'm serious. Don't do that. Don't do that. Not in my page, y'all. Not in mine. I can go to all the others content creator. How much longer do you think the trial? They said the trial is going to last until the 4th or past the 4th. What woman or person that testified? Yeah. A person that's testifying, Jane. Jane. I like the color. Thank you, Miss Bennett. Thank you. I'm just telling you, I'm very serious about this. The judge has given an order, right? And the order is for us not to do any description. Don't talk about nothing that has related to this woman on that stand. I will tell you what's being said on the stand. I'll tell you her emotion, how she feeling, was she crying, whatever. But as far as anything personal about her, please do not put it in my chat. I'm going to repeat it. Do not put it in my chat. Do not put it in my chat. I'm telling you, y'all gonna dislike me because I'm going to block y'all. I'm serious. I'm going to block y'all. I'm blocking y'all because I like being in the court. I do not like to be kicked out because of you want to be extra in my chat. And look, that's what I'm saying right now, because I know the government's watching our pages. So do not put it in here. Do not. And I'm going to keep repeating it. Some people don't understand. I like being in the court. I've been in trouble many times by judges before. So I am not going to violate any of those rules. Please do not put any comments about the victim, Jane, in the chat. Your comments will be deleted. And if you do it again, you will be blocked. Y'all got see bigger pictures with Jane. You see when Cassie and Brianna didn't have their way, they ran for the money, period. So you think that's going to be the same situation, Tawana? You think it's going to be the same situation and they're going to run for the money? I'm doing well. The connection is messing up. So, okay, I'm going to put this up on the stage right there. So anybody that comes in, they will see that and there will be no misunderstanding. Yeah, they're gonna cross her. Probably not until next week. Now, probably next week. Defense is not going to put their case on until the prosecution is over. The prosecution is supposed to be over by the end of the second week or beginning of the third week. So I would say around the third week of June. Somebody says some superstars do think they got money. They can do and say what they want. Yeah. Money don't have weight to certain level. I believe he forced her at all. I don't believe he forced her at all. I'm reading Tawana's statement. At all. She has mind of her own. She wanted taken care of and not work, but everything's given to them. These women were addicted to. Ooh, once you're behind them bars, it's over. Yep. Good now. The defense has bombshells. Oh, they do? Jay Mason says that. Do you think KK and D-Rock is going to for the defense? I think they are, because remember now they're calling them co-conspirators. Yeah. They definitely adding KK as a co-conspirator. And so far she's proven it. Hey, what are you doing? Y'all lunch break?
They have officially named KK a co-conspirator yesterday.
You gave up? You want to take a nap? Huh?
Y'all get the lights
up. I know they're going to 5, yeah. Man, I forgot they're going to 5 today. Oh, crap. I'm not staying at 5. I'm leaving at 4. I'm leaving at 4 because I got to take the train. I mean, the bus and stuff. I'm not. Yeah. KK, that is his assistant. KK was his assistant. I've learned to stay patient. It may seem like they're winning until the defense comes. Yeah, and I'm only one king. I'm just giving you reporting of what because I haven't said anything. I've been keeping quiet about what's going on in there. But I decided today, since she is one of the witnesses that's more strength. Has more strength. That's why I'm bringing you guys that information. Her name was mentioned from the start. Her name was not mentioned from the start, Molly. But don't put her name in my chat, Molly. Do not put that.
Trial attorney Brian Buckmeyer are outside the courthouse with more. Reno, what's the latest here? Well, Diane, Jane is sobbing through much of her testimony.
Did y'all hear that?
This morning, and the jury a short time ago got a chance to see some of the text messages between Jane and Sean Diddy Combs. Some of them were loving, some of them were sexually explicit, but prosecutors really seem to be focused on one from later in their relationship when Jane tried to communicate her true feelings about those so-called hotel nights, when she says Combs forced her into having sex with male prostitutes in front of him. And Jane read her message out loud to the jury.
Can y'all hear that over here?
Testimony in the Sean Diddy Combs trial. Under the pseudonym Jane, Diddy's ex-girlfriend is breaking down on the witness stand, describing so-called hotel nights, which she says were years of drug-fueled sex parties she never truly agreed to. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges, and his defense team says any sexual encounters were consensual. ABC's Rena Roy and legal contributor and trial attorney Brian Buckmeyer are outside the courthouse with more. So, Rena, what's the latest here? Well, Diane, Jane is sobbing through much of her testimony this morning, and the jury a short time ago got a chance to see some of the text messages between Jane and Sean Diddy Combs. Some of them were loving, some of them were sexually explicit, but prosecutors really seem to be focused on one from later in their relationship when Jane tried to communicate her true feelings about those so-called hotel nights, when she says Combs forced her into having sex with male prostitutes in front of him. And Jane read her message out loud to the jury, which said in part, "I don't want to play this role in your life anymore. It's dark, sleazy, and it makes me feel feel disgusted. I don't want to play this role out of fear of losing the roof over my head.
I mean, you change what you say every day, Pressure.
She says he threatened to stop paying her
The
rent
more
if she didn't
evidence that
oblige
goes to
with his
the
sexual
prosecution,
demands. And she also
prosecutors,
talked about what she
you
said
change.
was the longest hotel
You
night.
ain't
She took
solid
Jurors
about
back
nothing.
to New
You
Year's
wishy-washy
Eve,
just like Diddy.
2022, when she testified that the sex marathon lasted for 3.5 days and that she was
You
only
so dang
able to get
wishy-washy.
through it using drugs like ecstasy. She said once
Hold
she
on,
even
let me
threw
turn
up
this
after having
around.
sex with 2 male escorts, and that Combs came in and she told him that she had thrown up, and he said, "That's good, you'll feel better," because the 3rd escort had arrived, she said. Brian,
So
the
she
jury's
tried
also
to,
seeing
hold
these
on.
sexually explicit text messages that Jane said that's
Hold on. Oh my goodness. Hold on. I'm just not cutting this device on, so now it's trying to update. Right now, all of the videos I done missed. Bear with me. Hold on. Lord. And I mean, it's going by all of them, one by one.
Emergencies can strike at any time. That's why it's crucial to be prepared. Create a support system of people who can help you in a disaster. For people with disabilities and their families, it is important to consider it.
And the jury's also seeing these sexually
Y'all,
explicit
I can't
text
show it because
messages
it's
that
pulling
Jane
up all of the ones
sent
that I
Diddy.
have
She's
watched
testifying that
on
she
this
wanted
one.
to play into his fantasies.
Can y'all
She didn't
hear?
want to disappoint him. How hard is it
Can y'all at
for the
least hear?
prosecution to prove? Got a chance to see some of the text messages between Jane and Sean Diddy Combs. Some of them were loving, some of them were sexually explicit, but prosecutors really seem to be focused on one from later in their relationship when Jane tried to communicate her true feelings about those so-called hotel nights, when she says Combs forced her into having sex with male prostitutes
doing
in
that.
front of him. And Jane read her message out loud to the jury, which said in part, "I don't want to play this role in your life anymore. It's dark, sleazy, and it makes me feel disgusted. I don't want to play this role out of fear of losing the roof over my head." And Combs' response was, "Girl, stop." She says he threatened to stop paying her rent if she didn't oblige with his sexual demands. And she also talked about what she said was the longest hotel night. She took jurors back to New Year's Eve in 2022 when she testified that the
Okay,
sex
so let me
marathon
start
lasted
back.
for
Let me
3.5
start over.
days, and that she was only able to get through it using drugs like ecstasy. She said,
Okay.
"This team says any sexual encounters were consensual." ABC's Rena Roy and legal contributor and trial attorney Brian Buckmeyer are outside the courthouse with more. So, Rena, what's the latest here? Well, Diane, Jane is sobbing through much of her testimony this morning, and the jury a short time ago got a chance to see some of the text messages between Jane and Sean Diddy Combs. Some of them were loving, some of them were sexually explicit, but prosecutors really seem to be focused on one from later in their relationship when Jane tried to communicate her true feelings about those so-called hotel nights, when she says Combs forced her into having sex with male prostitutes in front of him. And Jane read her message out loud to the jury, which said in part, "I don't want to play this role in your life anymore. It's dark, sleazy, and it makes me feel disgusted. I don't want to play this role out of fear of losing the roof over my head." And Combs' response was, "Girl, stop." She says he threatened to stop paying her rent if she didn't oblige with his sexual demands. And
Get
she
a
also
job.
talked about what she said was the longest hotel night. She took jurors back to New Year's Eve in 2022 when she testified that the sex marathon lasted for 3.5 days.
I thought
and
they
that
couldn't
she was
show her
only
face.
able to get through it using drugs like ecstasy. She said once she even threw up after having sex with 2 male escorts, and that Combs came in and she told him that she had thrown up. He said, "That's good, you'll feel better," because the 3rd escort had arrived, she said.
She had 3?
Seeing these sexually explicit text messages that Jane sent to Diddy.
Oh, he did that cause it was old boy ex-girlfriend.
How hard is it for the prosecution to prove this?
He had 3 male escorts on one.
When she herself is saying that at times.
Oh yeah, that's trafficking, y'all.
Didn't openly protest because she wanted to make him happy. She didn't want to
that 3 back to back.
Hearing not only text messages,
oh wow,
some audio files as well with similar language, and that is a difficult part for the prosecution. Something I think the defense is going to jump on when they have an opportunity for cross-examination. But it comes down to consent and what she wanted at that time, and what they're trying to relay is, although these messages were very flirtatious and sexual in nature, that she had given signs, not just in terms of the words, but her body language, that she did not want to have sexual intercourse with other men. Now, going back to what Rena said with that earlier statement of wanting to keep a roof over her head, I could see the defense really getting into this witness by saying that they started dating in 2021, a lease wasn't signed until April 4th of 2023, and also talking about other potential sources of income, knowing that she is a single mother and could have gone and asked for funds from the father of that child or other resources. I think the
I'm gonna have to get off this device.
Might be a contentious aspect of this case as the testimony continues.
Rena, what are you watching for next? Well, Diane, Jane is expected to be on the stand for up to 5 days, with direct examination expected to last until Monday. So it's clear that the prosecution is really taking their time with Jane because she is a key part to their case. Now, she is the 2nd woman after Cassie Ventura to describe this larger-than-life romance that turned into years of
3
witness by saying that they started dating in 2021.
Let me hurry up because old girl back. Hold on.
For the prosecution, something I think the defense is going to jump on when they have an opportunity for cross-examination. But it comes down to consent and what she wanted at that time, and what they're trying to relay.
But she changed her mind. At any time she changed her mind.
That she had given signs, not just in terms of the words, but her body language, that she did not want to have sexual intercourse with other men. Now, going back to what Rena said with that earlier statement of wanting to keep a roof over her head, I could see the defense really getting into this witness by saying that they started dating in 2021, a lease wasn't signed until April 4th of 2023, and also talking about other potential sources of income, knowing that she is a single mother and could have gone and asked for funds from the father of that child or other resources. I think the coercion of using that money might be a contentious aspect of this case as the testimony continues.
Rena, what are you watching for next? Well, Diane, Jane is expected to be on the stand for up to 5 days, with direct examination expected to last until Monday. So it's clear that the prosecution is really
5 days,
taking
y'all.
their time with Jane because she is a key part to their case. Now, she is the 2nd woman after Cassie Ventura to describe this larger-than-life romance with Combs that turned into years of unwanted sex. So they're trying to show that this was a pattern of behavior from Combs. Brian, how do you think the defense is going to handle Jane's testimony on cross-examination?
You don't ever feel sorry for the female.
So we know that Alexandra Shapiro.
You don't ever feel sorry for the female.
Jane, based on the fact that she's making.
Because you're a man.
And I think what they're going to do is.
And you like women that have threesomes.
When it started, what resources she had.
Whether they want to or not. You don't think no is no.
Just saying that keeping that roof over her head.
You think no mean, ooh, it's good. It's too good for me to stop.
The fraud or the coercion or the force that they're attaching to the sex trafficking, and they're going to try to show, I believe, that she was in it to try to get a close relationship with Sean Combs. That she was in it, as she stated earlier, because she had issues with the father of her child, and so did Sean Combs, and that's what helped bond the two of them together, and that this was not about sex.
And he got her ass back by making her, forcing her to have sex with 3 men.
Something she alluded to about wanting that house with that big yard.
All right, Rena Roy, Brian Buckmeyer, thank you both.
He sold her a dream and she bought it. Let me get over here. I know you don't feel sorry for Diddy for using her and manipulating and lying. You think that's cool. You don't never feel sorry for, you know, you ain't gonna never say the dude was wrong. Ever. Hold on. You ain't gonna never. Nope, did he deserve? No, but you don't say that. You come out and say, I don't feel sorry for her.
They gave victim 2, right?
Let me go back.
Are out here sweating in these YouTube streets.
Let's go.
Jane Doe has done it. Jane Doe has done the damn thing with Diddy, and she did what Cassie couldn't do. First of all, Diddy's out of his mind.
Keep that energy when they release Diddy. Oh, David, they not gonna release him. That's why he over there trying to give signals and shit to the judge. I'm gonna keep the same energy. I'm solid. Yeah. Do you not know where you are? I'm solid.
All I do want to know is with Jane Doe, we're gonna call her Jeannie. All we do know with Jane Doe is the fact that
I don't eat niggas' asses. You all up his ass.
Can somebody explain to me how the SMEX workers were getting paid better than the girlfriends? The SMEX, and I use that term lightly. The SMEX workers were getting paid better than the girlfriends. She was doing all this stuff for $10K a month. Now, don't get me wrong, $10K a month is a lot. But not for what Diddy wanted. Y'all, let's get into this because Jane Doe did what Cassie couldn't do. Cassie talks about things that happened years ago, okay? There's a lot of problems
she brought
with
her current
evidence. You don't have the evidence. You don't have this. You don't have that. But what did Jane Doe do? She tied it to the present. And she tied it to its current operation. She admitted and showed us verifiable proof. And might I add, the prosecution is getting a spreadsheet. They have the phone records. They have the flight records. They have the credit card receipts. They have everything, right? They have everything. She admitted to being Diddy's mule. Diddy's mule, that is a predicate offense for RICO. Not only is Jane Doe,
you can say what you want to. I ain't no ass eater. You an ass eater.
A victim, but she was also Diddy's mule, and he named
you
her.
Must be one of the sex workers
in his RICO act. She also named the co-conspirators.
Are you one of his sex triple X slaves?
To either have to flip
you all up in his ass
on Diddy's behalf. Okay,
he's an ass eater.
Said,
don't come try to play with me about Diddy, because I'm gonna play with you just like that. He got your nose wide open. You must be the new Stevie J.
As a woman,
you better play with somebody safe.
Convince me that there was a woman on earth that consistently, over almost 3 years, let you use and abuse her body like that, right? Hold on a second. That can let you use or abuse your body like that. Listen, the potent ponderance that the prosecution is sick of the prostituting. They are. I do not believe. Jeannie said that she had to beg that ninja to let her use a condom. And these are all people that she thought were dirty, right? One person she described, it sounded like he just grabbed a homeless person off the street and said, here, put this in your mouth. And she was like, can I use it, whatever? And each time Diddy said no. Do men and women somehow think that because somebody is paying your rent, you are going to allow them consistently to have complete control of your body? On top of that, with Jane Doe, I do find her really, really believable that she said, listen, at first, how you doing? At first, I was down with the rah-rah. At first, I was down with this. At first, I was down with that. But Jeannie actually came through, and she said, but then after that, she's like, I can't do this. She said she was always crying. She was always sick. But when they paint a picture, it's actually really sad. It's like you thought you were in a relationship, Jane Doe. Victim number 2 thought she had a boyfriend. Victim number 2 thought she had somebody that loved her. Victim number 2 didn't realize that you were also you were a SMEX worker.
Yes, she is. Shout out to
you got paid the lowest. She said that at one point, she was meeting like so often. Also, I want to know what's going on with the La Armitage Hotel in Beverly Hills, because that's where they were having a lot of their hotel nights. That's Diddy, when he turned into
we don't see eye to eye, David.
Freak offs and put it in hotel nights. But they said they were having all that stuff.
I believe that's why he got called out yesterday for trying to plot that.
That lets me know.
He been put on blast. It'll be right up our alley that the judge put his ass out. And he have to watch from his jail cell.
Dorothy Martin said, what's done in the dark always comes to light. Exactly. But here's another thing.
And whatever they don't do, 50 and Roger Bonds is ready to testify.
When you hear her stories, there is not a person on earth that will consistently.
In the retrial with the feds, mean they gonna run him again, just like they did Weinstein or whatever.
What Cassie says, where the victim too said, she said that the victim said that it was a marathon where it would be 1 person, 2 person, 3 person. She said after the second guy, she literally had to physically go to the bathroom and throw up. And instead of letting her rest, Diddy would be like, yo, it's good you got it all out. Now come on, get back in there. She was not allowed to stop. She was not allowed to eat. She had no control.
Right.
And she felt she had to do this, 1, because she felt like she loved this man, and 2, she honestly felt like she had no other choice, because
love don't live here no more. You got me sleeping with 1 or 2, 3 guys. I'm telling you, he was doing porn.
Diddy does the same thing he always does with every woman. This is my opinion. He jumps into their life. He wines and dines them, right?
He used them as porn
hey,
stars.
Lisa M, how you doing? He jumps in. He wines and dines them. He got them twerking on yachts. He got them having a party. It's all this. She
the
said
feds will. You a lie.
Like passion is love.
You a lie. The feds will. The feds won't Diddy. And he playing in their face too. Right? Oh yeah, they gon' get him. You can best believe they are going to get him. Now he's going to appeal it.
Be here for ready for when you come.
He is going to appeal it for sure.
Like the money he gave,
but they are going to get Diddy.
But isn't that what he did?
He out of here.
Hear me out on this, right? Diddy is that type. It's that Detroit pimp shit. Right? That's the only way I can describe it. He
and don't let 50 Cent be a witness to nothing.
He literally bought everything, this and that, throwing money up. He's getting you used to the lifestyle. Say what you want. Who doesn't want to be comfortable? He's getting you to this. He comes in, the man of my dreams. He's kind, he's loving, he's respectful. He only wants it to be me and him. He's in my face.
The feds ain't scared of Diddy.
That man's a billionaire? Baby, sign me up. It really feels like you did the Sierra prayer. But then Diddy's real intentions actually comes in. He only does it till he gets comfortable enough to be like, yo, you ever think about bringing somebody else in? And the minute, I will say one thing, the difference between Cassie is, I guess he was still setting up his little freak off stuff, right? The minute she said, yeah, I'm down for it. He literally had her in a hotel not even 2 hours later.
Yeah, because see, all y'all was thinking that all Diddy had, all they had was Cassie.
To actually come out and do the show. And she said she felt like she opened a Pandora's box.
Y'all thought all the feds had was Cassie.
Had smacks outside of it. Now, one thing we actually do need to talk about, right? Golden A, well, I can't talk about that right now. We'll talk about that afterwards. Like, Golden A, thank you so much for the super chat. And MEMPHIS said this is pivotal for black culture. Diddy is behind a brand of party and bull, a segment of society to mimics his.
They didn't say she had a rich baby daddy. They said she had what did they say? A famous baby daddy. They didn't say he was rich.
You are
Pressure.
not
They just said he was famous.
Do this anymore. And the funny thing is, you think about the way, like, especially in the entertainment industry, they've always been on that bullshit.
They said she had a baby by a famous.
She's just 16 years old, right?
A famous guy.
The entertainment industry has always been on that BS. Before there was always some rocker.
I know he is, but
like,
that ain't what they said.
Yes, and I was talking to my girl Tiffany. We actually might even do a podcast where she was actually saying that, baby, the whole record industry was always on some RICO organized crime, and now that they are taking it down, they are letting you know you can't do that anymore. The time is up.
I've been trying to tell you.
It's cute to still be putting stuff in people's bodies.
I tried to tell y'all that's exactly what Boosie was trying to tell y'all on the cool. He said it. He said they done flipped this shit and they gonna get us all on the back end. He tried to tell y'all. He said y'all can't see it. Now, I tried to tell y'all before Boosie said it, but since y'all don't want to listen to AunTeaFee, Boosie said it. He was adamant about it. It didn't matter what y'all thought. He just said that's just a freak. Oh, you can call it what you want to call it, but by law, it is XXX trafficking. That's why what's his name, Suge Knight, all these rappers, they are not wanting Diddy to go down. By if this was what basically Suge is saying, if this is what they gonna do, I'm not saying he ain't did it. I'm just saying he don't need to be the only one, cause he got it from somewhere. So when he's saying that, right? He's saying he got it from somewhere. So he don't need to be going through this by himself. Facts. I hear that's what he's saying. So basically, same thing, because it's been going on. We're not saying it ain't been going on. But Diddy wouldn't stop. He didn't care. He kept going and going and going and going, even up until right, he was supposed to turn himself in. He was gonna have a freak off send off with this girl that's on this stand. So that stunt he pulled yesterday, he probably couldn't believe that they persuaded her to come on, get on that stand, even though he had told her not to, maybe had paid her, the whatever he done did behind the scene, right? And he gonna try to pull a ego move with the judge. Well, obviously he didn't put a roof over her head. He wasn't he wasn't paying, so you can't say she a gold digger because she wasn't digging him for gold and she wasn't taking his ass to court. I don't know.
Getting them loose without their consent, doing all this stuff, but even to the point of with the let me just say this, right? With Jeannie, I find it really, really scary how much Diddy was able to get into all the victims' minds, where they really was down for this person. I feel like he found.
Please hit the like button and support the platform.
Wanted to be seen, wanted to be loved, wanted to be accepted, and literally
I would feel
did, in my
sorry
opinion,
for normal
narcissistic
women,
abuse
but
and broke them down to the white meat, and then had them
rich
doing so
junkies.
many things that made them say,
But some of them wasn't junkies before Diddy, though.
that they almost stayed near him just because
These girls were not junkies before Diddy, in all fairness.
And how are they worthy about someone that treats them right? That's what they expected. The same way that all these podcasters are like, oh, yeah, this and that. That's what they wanted. Oma Oguma said, I read the transcript today. Evidence of RICO, trafficking, drug supply. Something is seriously wrong with the Tootsie. Thank you. Keep doing your thing. There is something really wrong with them. Also, Kelly said, Tisa, who's them co-conspirators, though? Names, we love you. Okay, let's get into the co-conspirators, okay? Also, Kareem said, oh, Diddy. Can't you see federal prison is where you will be? Diddy. Can't you see?
Can't you see? Federal prison is where you'll be. I love it. Let's go, y'all. Diddy. Can't you see? Federal prison is where you'll be.
Thank you so much for the super chat. Also, Helping Karma said, I heard that Jay-Z is being investigated. Is that true? What will he be being investigated for? Honeybee Therapy, thank you so much for the super chat. Okay, so listen, let me get into this corner real quick. Well, this lighting's great, but the wind is like kicking my butt, but the lighting's good. Okay, let's just do this, okay? Let's get into the, first of all, also, Diddy. I don't even know where to start with this man. He gets into so much crap, and it's not about that nasty freak stuff. It's just the fact that his supporters are still out there saying Diddy's not really gay. First of all, ain't nothing wrong with being gay. Second of all, Diddy, you 100% are. So you need to stop. I see why Alex Fine was like, because he a member, and I'm glad you sticking up for your people. Anyway, right? Let's get into this. They said that she said that one time Diddy bought this guy in to sleep with her. I think he was housing insecure. Bought this guy to sleep with her that was really stinky, really sweaty, and just smelled telling all the time. And Diddy was trying to get her to give this man sloppy toppy. And she did not want it. And she was like, can I please just put on like a condom or something? And he was like, no. And then she did not want to do it. She just couldn't do it. She said that she tried to seduce him. She tried to do this and that. And she was like, at the end of it, she was like, I can't do this, right? And when she did that, Diddy was like, all right, fine. And he laid her down on the bed. And he was doing the do, but telling the girl to keep looking at the guy. And she said all she remembered was that guy's stinky sweat dripping all over his face because he was standing over her sweating. What in the, first of all, what in the trunk?
From Kansas City.
Oh my God.
Washburn University will surprise you.
What just happened?
But you cannot tell me that was not childhood trauma central. Maybe adult trauma. I don't know. I actually don't even want to go to that therapy session with him. I don't want to find out why he did anything, but it is just super, super, super weird. Just super, super weird, all right? Also, let's get into the co-conspirators, because you know I took a bunch of notes, and then I got to run up to trial because lunch is starting, but you know that those people are going to be, the prosecution and defense are going to be, the prosecution and defense are going to be arguing the whole time. Can you imagine that? Maine said, Bussy Daddy's sweating like it's S workers today. Listen, Beaky said stages of MPD, idolization, devaluation, discarding, then hovering. He is a demon. Kimberly Steinberg, thank you so much for the super chat. And Brandon D said, love bombed only to have a train ran on them with the Tootsie Roll, rocking around being a voyeur like a weirdo. They even played a video where she was like, please, can you...
porn star. He made him into porn stars.
They even played a video where they were like, please, she was like, please, you promise we could use a condom. And he was like, girl, what did he say? You promised you could use it. And he was like, no, you already took it. You already took this D. Like, he liked to see it without or whatever. Anyway, so
he
where
liked
are,
to, oh
okay?
my God.
She's already implicated
it's this man's
KK
fantasy.
as the
It's the D he don't have.
KK gave victim 2, right? KK gave victim 2, 1 second. Bless child, thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, B. Lynn said, you rock, keep going. And Marissa JR said, I saw another YouTuber saying that Jane Doe is the last witness for the prosecution. Is that true? Love your work, and I'm so proud of your talent is being recognized on a large scale. So they did say that Jane Doe, she's the last victim. She's the last victim, not the last witness. She's the last victim, but she's not the last witness. Even though the prosecution says they've proven their point and they're ready to wrap it up, right? M said, I appreciate your compassion for the witnesses. Also, Lakeisha Anderson said, love you, Tisa, so much. I'm super proud of you. Thank you so much. Also, Anne's
it was the bankroll, because don't nobody want no Tootsie Roll without no real woman.
I'll tell you about that.
I don't know. I ain't never been into Tootsie Rolls. Ever. That was in the friendship.
Oh, thank you. Audi Miami-Dade case sent a track. Okay, let me
make me fall in love with you, baby, before I see that Tootsie Roll. I'm gonna tell you that now.
It said Audi Miami-Dade case F18, whatever, sent a request for transcripts. Thank you. Next court date is August the 13th. I might actually go. I'll be around. So listen, right? What did victim 2 do? KK sent her as a mule. Diddy told her to bring his pharmacy over the first time. She said that she was really, really scared, right? She said she carried rugs in 2022. She said, if I pick up the package, they said pick up the package and then fly, not on private jet, on commercial. He had her literally on commercial. Then they said go to the Beverly Hills house, right? They told victim, go to the Beverly Hills house and pick up the package. KK always knew because she had to get the package from KK, right? She said she asked, KK, is this safe, right? And KK said, of course it is. I do it all the time. I said, yeah, KK going in, right? Then Jeannie said she felt super, super weird, right? She said when she flew, she gave it to Sean in the bathroom, and he pulled out all these pills and then gave her one because they had to get ready.
Your wife all about the money.
Or as he now rebranded them, hotels night.
Precious,
Jenny said the second
your
time she
wife,
was a mule,
your
it was the second
ex-girlfriend
package
was
straight
all
from
about
LA
the
to,
money.
Miami. KK told her it was
If you
safe
was broke,
and brought
busted,
it
and
to her.
disgusted,
Again,
she wouldn't have
this
fooled with
is
you.
Rico, okay?
You must have had some type of
Sean
potential. Let's
set-
keep it
here's the thing,
real.
Sean set up most
Stop
of
that.
the SMEX workers, okay? And then she started on a schedule, right?
Do I have to go there with you?
Idea one time that she wanted to
Do I have to go there with you? Now, I ain't. Don't no woman want no broke, busted, and disgusted man. Let's be clear. He don't have to be no celebrity, but I mean, come on. Ain't no woman gonna go get no hobo off the corner street and say, "Oh yeah, I'm in love with you." I mean, are we gonna keep it real? It's gonna always be about the money. It's gonna always be about the potential to make money. I mean, so stop that. So look at your wife and ask her, baby, I know we've been together for a long, long time, but if I was a loser, hobo, busted and disgusted, wasn't about shit, didn't want shit, ain't never had shit, would you want me? Be honest. And if she an honest person, she gonna say, oh no. Oh hell no. Oh, but I could rock your world. Okay. But after you rock my world, what you got? Can you pay some bills? Can you help? What future do we have? Cause we can't all day. And now I got a headache. Cause now I'm saying I got a headache for you bamming my head against the headboard. And hell, you can't give me no aspirin. You can't go to the store and get no aspirin. Okay? So, it's just that our light bulb gonna come on before they light bulb come on. But don't make no mistake about it. Money is always an issue. Yeah, but come on. Let's keep it real. Some of these women, I don't think look at a menage a trois or a threesome as a freak out. But that's a freak off too. That's a freak out. But I like it. Oh, I wanted to try it. They liked it too in the beginning. They come on. Now, do I have to just keep it REAL with you? I'm trying to enjoy my off day. Huh? Them freaky folk who done the menage a trois, they was down for it. For they do. For they do. Well, we'll pick them together. We swingers, we share out. Same thing. Until, I guess, I don't know. Now, that's one thing I'm going to tell you. I ain't never been into. I ain't going to ever. I don't trust that type shit. Because I believe that a man who really, really cut for you and love you from their heart for something other than just SEX ain't gonna want you to do that. And I don't think a real man who's into you gonna be okay with seeing another dude enter into you. They gonna start judging the way you move with him, that you don't move with him, and how you was all into it and you don't seem like that with me. Oh, god damn. So now we got a whole nother problem. And he gonna always feel like that because them dudes are gonna be able to reach places that his ass ain't never been able to reach. This is Keep It Real Friday with AunTeaFee. Okay? He gonna always come up on the short end of the stick. So all he got is money. He ain't got inches. he'll never be able to reach that spot, baby. Ever. He can only reach it in his mind. So leaning over her with his, he is creating a picture in his head. Okay? But right here with me, you pressure, a woman is going to look at you about the potential to make that money, to protect and provide, not to share, slip and slide. Okay? Slip and glide, slide, electro, whatever. Okay? See? It's all about the money and ain't a dang thing funny. Let's go.
However, Diddy wasn't really down with that, okay? She said all the men were strangers. She hated it. She wanted to choose at least who it could be so she could get some type of rapport, right? She said that she was always on ecstasy, right? Oh, get this. Listen, this is actually something very important. Do you know how the prosecution is saying these are grown men that wanted to, grown women that wanted to do that? What are you talking about? The prosecution actually proved, in Jane's testimony, I believe, that even when people thought that these girls were contacting them all outside of Diddy, they were never contacting them outside of Diddy. Jane said, Jeannie, victim two. Victim 2 said, and you guys, if everybody's wondering who victim number 2 is, she is not a publicly facing girlfriend of Diddy. If you guys saw her, you would not know who she is, okay? But she's not a publicly facing girlfriend, okay? So, listen, no more guessing. No more guessing. So anyway,
hey, fellas.
she said that, she hated it, blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's the thing. Remember they said these women were contacting the sex workers outside, right? Victim 2 has proven that that's a lie. She said that whenever she would FaceTime the escorts, she would do it for Sean. She calls him Sean. She would do it for Sean. And Sean would mirror her FaceTime screen onto the TV and be in the other room diddling with his Tootsie Roll while so the workers thought that, like, she was like, what's up, baby? My man ain't around. Like, what was you doing? And they came to find out that 100% wasn't true. At all times,
it was
much
Diddy.
like Cassie, victim only contacted these workers if at Diddy's command, behest, or whatever. And when she was in command to do, she did not have anything to do with these people. Again, this goes to the heart of the prosecution saying, oh my God, you contacted me outside. You know you wanted it. No. Even when you thought you were alone, you were not alone. They were doing it for Diddy, and Diddy would either tape it or watch playbacks. I know Diddy was so happy when Apple started FaceTime. I know he was like, yes, when Apple started FaceTime. And that screen mirroring, he said, oh, it is on. Anyway, right? She said that she would FaceTime them with the mirror on and get them to, because that's what Diddy wanted to see. That's another thing. It's sad when you look at the way that LGBTQ has been rejected in America. Things are changing, but the fact that I truly believe that no, that's not true because he's a monster. But I feel like a lot of this depravity is because
he is sleeping white. Why you retracted? Diddy is sleeping white.
No, that's not true because there's a lot of people in the closet.
Why you retracted, pressure?
That aren't running trains on their girlfriends or wannabe girlfriends and having freak offs. So never mind. Scratch that, right? She said that, there was Cabral. Oh, so here's the people I think is going to testify. There's somebody called Cabral, right? There's someone called Don. There's someone called Paul. And there's somebody called somebody else. I think these 4 workers are going to testify. The fact that because she said that there was hundreds of men, she can't even count. But the fact that she keeps talking about these gentlemen, it really honestly makes me believe you guys are 100%, and I mean 100%, going to actually testify as to what you saw and did. Because why out of hundreds are we talking about only 4, right? So it was Cabral, it was this. Let me get to the co-conspirators because there was a whole list, right? Oh, Oh, Don, Paul. Oh, also, she said that they got a lot of them from Cowboys and Angels. You guys won't remember, but 2 years ago, I did a video saying we found Diddy's S-worker supplier. I went to Cowboys and Angels. I'm going to repost the video tonight. And it was a whole live, and we went through the catalog, and we actually found some of these people. So y'all already knew this 2 years ago, right? Also, with the sex trafficking, LA, Miami, and Turks overseas, okay? They booked their own, so most of the time, Diddy's people will book the travel, right? Or they would already be there. Oh, and Leo. Leo was another one that they named. So it was Cabral, Leo, Paul, and Don, all right? There was another unknown one. So hold on, I really want to get the thing. Diddy, they also did say that Diddy was standing in the corner while she was begging him, can I use or whatever? And she said she looked over the guy's shoulder and he was like, you better, no! Because he thought that if she actually used a condom, that would completely sour the mood. Okay. Anyway, hold on. I want to get these. I really want to give y'all the co-conspirators because okay, here we go, right? Diddy's butler, right? Brendan. Now, I do think that Brendan has gotten immunity, so I do think that she's going to be friendly. Hey, how you doing, Mom? So Brendan said multiple times, while they were having their hotel parties, he would come to the door and hand her whatever, right? Right? Also, Frank, right? John, and others. There was a few more. Hold on. Frank, John, and others. There was also, I believe, KK. They said that there was, hold on, I took so many notes. 1 second, look, where are they? Jeannie, this is another thing. All that she wanted from this, for everything she did, she would do all these free calls because she needed her rent paid. And also, you guys, we have to have a special Tattletales moment. If anybody is doing free calls and letting that man make you hum on some homeless, and
what? What I miss?
And then they want to
homeless
in the corner while she was begging him, can I use or whatever? And she said, right?
What I miss, y'all? Homeless.
Also, she said that they got a lot of them from Cowboys and Angels. You guys won't remember, but 2 years ago, I did a video saying we found Diddy's S-worker supplier. I went to Cowboys and Angels. I'm going to repost the video tonight. And it was a whole live, and we went through the catalog, and we actually found some of these people. So y'all already knew this 2 years ago, right? Also, with the sex trafficking, LA, Miami, and Turks overseas, okay?
Oh, out the country.
They booked their own, so most of the time, Diddy's people will
out the country,
travel, right? Or they would already be
out the country.
Leo.
Oh, that
Leo
ass is out of here.
That they named. So it was Cabral, Leo, Paul, and Don, all right? There was another unknown one. So hold on, I really want to get the thing. Diddy, they also did say that Diddy was standing in the corner while she was begging him, can I use or whatever? And she said she looked over the guy's shoulder and he was like, you better, no! Because he thought that if she actually used a condom, that would completely sour the mood. Okay. Anyway, hold on, I want to get these. I really want to give y'all the co-conspirators because okay, here we go.
Intimidation.
Right? Diddy's butler, right? Brendan. Now, I do think that Brendan has gotten immunity, so I do think that she's going to be friendly. Hey, how you doing, Mom? So Brendan said multiple times, while they were having their hotel parties, he would come to the door and hand her whatever, right? Right? Also, Frank, right? John, and others. There was a few more. Hold on. Frank, John, and others. There was also, I believe, KK. They said that there was, hold on, I took so many notes. 1 second, look, where are they? Jeannie, this is another thing. All that she wanted from this, for everything she did, she would do all these free calls because she needed her rent paid. And also, you guys, we have to have a special Tattletales moment. If anybody is doing free calls and letting that man make you hum on some homeless, and then on your body, and then they want to please let me know. I'm not even joking. We will crowdsource you so you can get actual housing. The fact that it is $10K a month is a lot of money, don't get me wrong. But when you hear about what these girls have to go through, it is not a lot of money. I thought that's another thing I do want to say too. You think Young Miami was lying to us? She said she was getting 250 to 300K a month. You better take 4 zeros off of that. She might have been given 2.5 to 3,000 a month, because Diddy is notoriously cheap. Okay. Anyway, she says that. Oh, also, they had a huge argument over KK.
Y'all get the likes up so I don't have to end it.
She didn't consent. She was 100% coerced. I think as testimony goes on, we're going to 5. Oh, yeah, by the way, you guys, we're going to 5 o'clock today. I really honestly do believe that.
I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you.
I really do honestly believe.
Put it on the super chat. Super sticker.
The whatever is based on.
You didn't even come in speaking.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to get this out, but
all questions go on the super chat or super sticker.
Listen. Oh, what was Diddy? Oh my God, what was Diddy like? What was Diddy like in court today? Diddy was 100% walking in. He would not
don't come in here asking questions and not speaking.
Jurors,
crazy.
especially the ones that I've had a few concerns about. They were looking at the wall. They were looking at the wall. Hold on really quick. How are you? Sorry about that, guys.
Look at here, you gonna respect my platform.
Come say hi.
Don't come in here asking me no questions without speaking.
Okay.
And if you want to ask a question, put it on a super chat or a super sticker. Okay?
Thank you. Keep up the good work.
Okay.
I appreciate you. Okay, so listen.
Hi, Carl.
Okay, let's get back into this, okay?
I'm talking about that Chef Bar RD.
Diddy was looking straight, and the jurors said,
now I don't even want you on here. Now I'm gonna block you. Since you're gonna try to play with me.
But it looked like he put the fear of God into everybody.
But why would you not come over speaking first? Have you ever been over here before?
Acting off. Now, again,
bye.
When it comes to sex trafficking, there must be a pattern, right? There must be a pattern of protection.
Should nobody have to tell you that?
She refused to let her use violence. She begged them for it. The first night was with Don. And
you think I'm slow?
Diddy was very.
You think I'm new to this?
Tried to guilt trip her, saying he didn't want to see. He didn't like.
Have you ever supported my platform?
Members, right? Super dismissive, right? He said he didn't want to see.
You lost your mind. Now you done lost your privileges.
Sober about that. She was begging them, can the escort please do this, right? Again, he was recording it.
Now you know.
Dawn
bye.
Wouldn't say anything, right? Dawn wouldn't say anything. They were recording them. The escort was fine with it. However, Diddy really had a problem, okay? Oh, wait. Court's back in.
Okay, Dana.
Guys, I will see y'all.
Bye.
For the big thing. We're going to do a huge live.
Bye.
Today, right?
I don't like your rudeness.
Let me go.
I don't like your disrespect.
Wait, hold on.
Bye.
Do the whatever.
Bye.
Brick Booty said that spells out. Diddy did it. Red said Diddy breaks crumbs off for folks and puts them in order to string them along. Hold on, let me answer you guys' questions. I agree. Ponderance said
you think I'm thirsty? I'm not.
Thank you. Rose J said
who next?
She said thank you. And
don't come over here rude and disrespectfully.
Today, yes.
Don't come over here not speaking.
More family, more fun. Said she did it for the money.
No, that's not how that's gonna work. And if you don't like it, bye. I don't have no problem with that.
Is not public face.
I don't like your attitude.
And also, I literally said no identifying. I'm telling y'all, Jane is not public facing. Y'all don't know who she is. Raucous TV said, what the Tootsie Roll that Diddy do to
please.
Michelle, thank you so much. Brittany Renee said it's KK tested.
I am not thirsty.
I'm hearing conflicting answers. You know what? Honestly, I will honestly say, I don't know. I thought she was, but now that the way they're positioning her, she might not have taken that immunity deal. Even Felipa Watson said, hey, Bestie Tisa, I know what it is to have some narcissist man in control of your life, but all depends on us to say enough. Yeah, but the funny thing is, I think that's what they're doing now in court. They're saying enough.
Yeah, these one.
Get in there, Nick said, great job.
May 15th page. You just created this page. Like you just created it. May 15th. Like you somebody. Girl, bye. Boy, bye. Bye. I do not care.
Oh, maybe. Ma'am, thank you so much. You said
I do not care.
You guys, listen. Let me get back into that courtroom so I can bring you guys.
AunTeaFee, you checking? I sure am.
Give y'all a recap at the end of the day, but yeah.
I sure am.
All right.
what done happened? Jane Doe, baby daddy trolling her bad on Izzy. Yeah, these new pages. She must have said something. Hold on. Hey, D. Ferguson. They trying me today. I don't know what they thought. Hi, Carl. The penciling. Oh, hi. Let me get back. Hi, Satoya. I'm sorry for the ones I missed while I was on a rant. I don't suggest nobody going. Nobody's
are out here sweating in these. You said I appreciate your campaign. Said, and you guys, if everybody's wondering who victim number 2 is, she is not a publicly facing.
So she just abruptly stopped.
If you guys saw her, you would not know who she is.
Maybe
okay?
I was going off. Let's go.
She's not a publicly facing girlfriend. Okay. So listen, no more guessing. No more guessing. So anyway. Remember they said these women were contacting the sex workers outside, right? Victim 2 has proven that that's a lie. She said that whenever she would FaceTime the escorts, she would do it for Sean. She calls him Sean. She would do it for Sean. And Sean
I'm going to get over there, Pressure.
Mirror her FaceTime screen onto the TV and be in the other room diddling with his Tootsie Roll while she... So the workers...
Diddling with his
Tootsie Roll. She was like,
Roll.
what's up, baby? My man ain't around. Like, what was you doing? And they came to find out that 100% wasn't true. At all times, and much like Cassie, the victim only contacted these workers if at Diddy's command, behest, or whatever. And when she was in command to do, she did not have anything to do with these people. Again, this goes to the heart of the prosecution saying, oh my God, you contacted me outside. You know you wanted it. No. Even when you thought you were alone, you were not alone. They were doing it for Diddy, and Diddy would either tape it or watch playbacks. I know Diddy was so happy when Apple started FaceTime. I know he was like, yes, when Apple started FaceTime. And that screen mirroring, he said, oh, it is on. Anyway, right? She said that she would FaceTime them with the mirror on and get them to, because that's what Diddy wanted to see. That's another thing. It's sad when you look at the way that LGBTQ has been rejected in America. Things are changing, but the fact that I truly believe that a lot of, no, that's not true because he's a monster. But I feel like a lot of this depravity is because he feels like he couldn't be himself. But then, no, that's not true, because there's a lot of people in the closet, which is really sad, that aren't running trains on their girlfriends or wannabe girlfriends and having freak off. So never mind. Scratch that, right? She said that,
Hey, it's John, and before you skip this ad, did you see that a self-proclaimed MAGA warrior...
There was Cabral. Oh, so here's the people I think is going to testify. There's somebody called Cabral, right? There's someone called Don. There's someone called Paul. And there's somebody called somebody else. I think these 4 workers are going to testify. The fact that because she said that there was hundreds of men, she can't even count. But the fact that she keeps talking about these gentlemen, it really honestly makes me believe you guys are 100%, and I mean 100%, going to actually testify as to what you saw and did. Because why out of hundreds are we talking about only 4, right? So it was Cabral, it was this. Let me get to the co-conspirators because there was a whole list, right? Oh, Don, Paul. Oh, also, she said that they got a lot of them from Cowboys and Angels. You guys won't remember, but 2 years ago, I did a video saying we found Diddy's S-worker supplier. I went to Cowboys and Angels. I'm going to repost the video tonight. And it was a whole live, and we went through the catalog, and we actually found some of these people. So y'all already knew this 2 years ago, right? She said, oh, also, with the sex trafficking, LA, Miami, and Turks overseas, okay? They booked their own, so most of the time Diddy's people will book the travel, right? Or they would already be there. Oh, and Leo. Leo was another one that they named. So it was Cabral, Leo, Paul, and Don, all right? There was another unknown one. So hold on, I really want to get the thing. Diddy, they also did say that Diddy was standing in the corner while she was begging him, can I use or whatever? And she said she looked over the guy's shoulder and he was like, you better, no. Because he thought that if she actually used a condom, that would completely sour the mood. Okay. Anyway, hold on. I want to get these. I really want to give y'all the co-conspirators because okay, here we go, right? So, Diddy's butler, right? Brendan. Now, I do think that Brendan has gotten immunity, so I do think that she's going to be... Hey, how you doing, Mom? So, Brendan said multiple times, while they were having their hotel parties, he would come to the door and hand her whatever, right? Right? Also, Frank, right? John, and
who did she say? Oh, my God.
Hold on.
Pressure, you got.
In the corner.
Hi, Sarah.
She was begging him, can I use or whatever?
Thank you.
And she said she looked over the guy's shoulder and he was like, you better, no. Because he thought that if she actually used a condom, that would completely sour the mood. Okay. Anyway, hold on. I want to get these. I really want to give y'all the co-conspirators because okay, here we go, right? So, Diddy's butler, right? Brendan. Now, I do think that Brendan has gotten immunity, so I do think that she's
the butler, okay.
Hey, how you doing, Mom?
I wonder if
Brendan
any celebs will later be...
While they were having their hotel parties, he would come to the door and hand her whatever, right? Right? Also, Frank, right? John, and others. There was a few more. Hold on. Frank, John, and others. There was also, I believe, KK... They said that there was... Hold on, I took so many notes. 1 second. Look, where are they? Jeannie. Oh, this is another thing. All that she wanted from this, for everything she did, she would do all these free calls because she needed her rent paid. And also, you guys, we have to have a special Tattletales moment. If anybody is doing free calls and letting that man make you hum on some homeless, and then on your body, and then they want to make, and then please let me know. I'm not even joking. We will crowdsource you so you can get actual housing. The fact that it is $10K a month is a lot of money, don't get me wrong. But when you hear about what these girls had to go through, it is not a lot of money. I thought, that's another thing I do want to say too. You think Young Miami was lying to us? She said she was getting $250 to $300K a month. You better take 4 zeros off of that. She might have been given $2.5 to $3,000 a month because Diddy is notoriously cheap, okay? Anyway, she says that, also they had a huge argument over KK's messages, okay? She said that she didn't consent. She was 100% coerced. I think as testimony goes on, we're going to 5. Oh, yeah, by the way, you guys, we're going to 5 o'clock today. I really honestly do believe that... Sorry, guys. I really do honestly believe that for whatever reason, the whatever is based on coercion, okay? Hold on. I'm trying to get this out, but I have to go back to the courtroom. Listen. Oh, what was Diddy... Oh, my God. What was Diddy like? What was Diddy like in court today? Diddy was 100% walking in. He would not look at the jury at all. But get this, the jurors, especially the ones that I've had a few concerns about, they were looking at the wall.
I don't see nothing, Big Pressure.
They were looking at the wall. Hold on really quick.
She said, what?
How are you? Sorry about that, guys. I'm live. Sorry. But you know what? Come back. Coercion, okay? Hold on. I'm trying to get this out, but I have to go back to the courtroom. Listen. Oh, what was Diddy... Oh, my God. What was Diddy like? What was Diddy like in court today? Diddy was 100% walking in. He would not look at the jury at all. But get this, the jurors, especially the ones that I've had a few concerns about, they were looking at the wall. They were looking at the wall. Hold on really quick. How are you? Sorry about that, guys. On live. Sorry, but you know what? Come really quick. Come say hi. Hold on, y'all. My phone's going crazy. Okay. Hi. Say hi, everybody.
Hi. She's the best.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Oh, thank you, Mama. I appreciate you. Okay, so listen. Okay, so let's get back into this, okay? So Diddy was looking straight, and the jurors that I had issues with, or I thought they were a problem, they were looking at the wall. I don't know what Judge Aaron said to them, but it didn't look like he put the fear of God into everybody. Everybody straightened up their posture, and everybody is actually acting off. Now, again, when it comes to sex trafficking, there must be a pattern, right? There must be a pattern of protection. He refused to let her use condoms. She begged him for it. The first night was with Don in that Miami hotel. Diddy was very dismissive, tried to guilt trip her, saying he didn't want to see, he didn't like the way the condoms look on members, right? Super dismissive, right? He said he didn't want to see rubber in his freak off. She had combos
on his porn.
She was begging him, can the escort please do this, right? Again, he was recording it on the iPhone. Dawn wouldn't say anything, right? Dawn wouldn't say anything. They were recording him. The escort was fine with it. However, Diddy really had a problem, okay? Oh, wait. Court's back in. Okay, listen. Sorry, guys. I will see y'all afterwards for the big thing. We're going to do a huge live recap today, right after court. Make sure y'all catch me. Let me go ahead and go into... Oh, wait. Hold on. Should I do the...
oh, but he got some funny stuff,
whatever.
though.
Hold on. Britt Moody said that spells out Diddy did it. Red said Diddy is not cheap. He breaks crumbs off for folks and play them in order to string them along. Hold on, let me answer you guys' questions. I agree. Potent Ponderance said you're so gracious and we love it. Very selfish. Oh, thank you. Rose J said keep up the good work, T said thank you. And VYBZ Star said hi T, missed you today. Yes. It's a busy day today. More family, more fun. Said she did it for the money. No, you guys don't understand. Jane is not public facing, you guys. And also, I literally said no identifying, but I'm telling y'all, Jane is not public facing. Y'all don't know who she is. Raucous TV said, what the Tootsie Roll that Diddy do to your camera? Shut up. Also, my Michelle, thank you so much. Brittany Renee said, is KK testifying for the prosecution? I'm hearing conflicting answers. You know what? Honestly, I will honestly say, I don't know. I thought she was, but now that the way they're positioning her, she might not have taken that immunity deal. Eva Felipa Watson said, hey, bestie Tisa, I know what it is to have some narcissist man in control of your life, but all depends on us to say enough. Yeah, but the funny thing is, I think that's what they're doing now in court. They're saying enough. Angie, thanks so much for the super chat. Get in there, Nick said, great job. Tuned in every day. Sully Buchanan, thank you so much. Edgar Birdie said, anyone defending Diddy is weird. I know that's right. I completely agree with that. Let me get to a few more questions. Miss Caroline said, I heard back in the day that getting trained, trains ran on you and recorded was a thing within the hip-hop culture in the 90s. I wonder if it stemmed from that. Oh, maybe. Ma'am, thank you so much. You said, keep telling it, Tisa. You guys, listen. Let me get back into that courtroom so I can bring you guys some new tape. Make sure you turn your notifications on so I can...
She's got a what? Take the 5K1. Quit playing. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Through hers, you can get access to
Carl, what do you mean?
FDA-approved treatment for weight loss, available at 50%.
What are you talking about? She got to take a 5K1. What is that?
Jane Doe, happy to have you back, my man. Week 3, Diddy trial. Gotta talk about it, man. I heard.
What are you talking about?
Actual altercation up there. Like, what's the backstory behind that? Before we get into everything else.
I wouldn't call it an altercation.
5K1. What are you talking about?
Somebody is capable of challenging you on your level. What happened is that you get these YouTubers, you know what I'm saying, who want to make contact with you by yelling, screaming, and hollering, and thinking that you gotta answer their questions. And they talking to a grown-ass man like he's some kind of child or hollering at some kind of animal. See, I come to that court because I'm trying to see this thing through. You know, I don't care what nobody say. I'm the one who initiated this whole thing and started talking about this dude.
She helped out the conviction. Yeah,
He was treating people
I don't know. Hold on.
way before any of his employees.
All I know is she didn't want to go up there, and they probably gave her a sweet deal to come and testify because she was avoiding.
Elizabeth, it is good to see you. We already have questions coming in directly for you, so let's get right into it, because I know always my time with you is limited. We have a question from Danny, and this is the central question. This is the central question, because I asked yesterday, it was more introductory. She seemed to talk about the love that she had in this relationship with Sean Combs, how she met him in 2020, the relationship began in 2021, started to introduce her into these voyeuristic sexual episodes. I wasn't hearing force, fraud, coercion for sex trafficking, right? And using those methods to induce somebody.
Tisa needs to stop. Everybody, including the jury, know who Jane baby daddy is.
Did Jane testify to any
She didn't have to put it up. Well, she was supposed to be victim number 3, not 2.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to answer that. I feel like we're still kind of getting into the depths of more of her direct testimony, whereas right away with Cassie, for example, it was you could kind of make the dots and connect the dots. Sorry, I cannot speak today. You can connect the dots a little bit easier with Cassie's testimony. For example, you have the Intercontinental Hotel incident, the surveillance video. But as far as just coercion,
oh, hold on, I don't think this is the.
hard to really tell at this point.
Okay, let's just go.
Well, she was on the witness stand today, for example, that she would just break down into a lot of tears to the point that AUSA Marine Comey was like, do you need to take a break? Are you okay? Do you want to keep going?
Hold
and
on.
Jane just continued to...
She faced from Diddy. Floor is yours, Elizabeth.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to answer that. I feel like we're still kind of getting into the depths of more of her direct testimony, whereas right away with Cassie, for example, it was you could kind of make the dots and connect the dots. Sorry, I cannot speak today. You can connect the dots a little bit easier with Cassie's testimony. For example, you have the Intercontinental Hotel incident, the surveillance video. But as far as just coercion specifically to Jane, it's kind of hard to really tell at this point. There were times while she was on the witness stand today, for example, that she would just break down into a lot of tears to the point that AUSA Marine Comey was like, do you need to take a break? Are you okay? Do you want to keep going? And Jane just continued to push through, but she got really emotional at points when it came to just how long that these freak-offs would last, to the point where she would be so tired that she would request or kind of give a look to her partner, as she calls him, but that look was to Diddy or to Puffy or Sean Combs, as she also calls him on the witness stand. But
Gina
she was kind of explaining
was
that
the only one that owned that.
From a freak off or a hotel night or a
Why you
debauchery
say
night,
her
whatever they
name?
call it. And then Diddy would want more escorts to come. So when they were done with one escort, that escort would leave. Then another escort would come. That escort would leave. Then another escort would come into the hotel room, and then that escort would leave. And so she did have points today where it was very emotional. But as far as force, fraud, and coercion, it's kind of hard to tell, mainly because Jane, a lot of the times, is like, I did it to please him. I did it to make him happy. I knew these were things that turned him on, and I just wanted to make sure that he was happy. I would give him massages. I would watch or put on his favorite show. I would cook for him after these hotel nights or freak-off sessions. And so it's a pretty gray area right now, but I think that during the direct, which is going to continue until 5 p.m. today, that some...
This is the pink salt trick that took me from 198 to 136 in just a few weeks and helped me
during the direct, which is going to continue until 5 p.m. today, that somewhere, some point, maybe the dots will be connected a little bit more than what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag, and I'm going to talk about it later. You know, there were aspects of it where she talks about, throwing up and then being forced to engage in these sex acts, her crying, him being dismissive. Then there's problems, like she still wanted to be in his arms. She's calling him sweet, that it seems like he didn't force her to have sex with one sex worker that was, sweating. But I think a lot of it goes to transporting her and sex workers for the purpose of sex work. So that's, I think count 5 in the indictment, transportation to engage in prostitution. Here's a great question. After yesterday, when Diddy got in trouble for allegedly nodding at the jury during cross-examination of a witness, we got a question here from Shady Nasty. What is Diddy's demeanor like in court today listening to Jane testify?
Well, Diddy at the defense table is doing kind of what he normally does, minus kind of the nodding along with the testimony and things of that sort. So for the most part, I do see him at times jotting notes down, passing them off to his attorneys. During sometimes the sidebars, I see him kind of turn around, look at his family members, for example, seeing his mom inside the courtroom and waving hello to her. But as far as just giving looks to the jurors specifically and nodding along, I haven't seen much of that today. And so it might have resonated what the judge said to Diddy yesterday, right before we had went to the lunch break, just yesterday around the same time. And so as far as what we're seeing, it's not as intense as it was yesterday, but I think after the judge's words to him, I think he realized, okay, I gotta chill out on doing the nodding.
So, you know, he's not looking at the jurors, because we got a question here from RSS. He's not nodding at the jurors. Is he looking at the jurors? Are the jurors looking at him? Because this is important testimony. I guess the question is, what are the jurors doing when they're listening to the testimony of Jane?
Yeah, so from what I see, and I did try to get a better seat for you guys today so I could kind of really see more of like the second row, the third row. I can't see the first row as much as I normally could from where I normally sit. But as far as what I did see from the jurors today, I did see them either looking directly at Jane while she's testifying, especially during those moments where she got super emotional and she began crying. And then I also saw them looking at AUSA Maureen Comey too while she was kind of doing her lines of questioning. And so there were times where you could see jurors looking at Maureen Comey, then looking at Jane on the witness stand, or they're just laser focused on Jane, or some of them I've seen are just jotting down a bunch of notes. I have seen a lot of notes because there were exhibits that were shown and a lot of exhibits that were shown. Unfortunately, during Jane's testimony, we in the gallery and even those in the overflow room cannot see it, but we're hearing a lot of descriptions of them. For example, the many lines of escorts and the escorts photographs that the jurors saw today and that Jane saw today too. But from what I could see of them, really it seems like they're paying very close attention. I didn't see any outwardly kind of facial expressions as far as maybe being confused or anything like that. Really, they're just kind of like, I really kind of want to know myself what's going on in their minds sometimes, because sometimes they just have a very stone cold face kind of going on while they're listening to a lot of graphic testimony.
By the way, did you hear that recording that was played in court today regarding, I think you could hear Combs, Jane, and this guy named Don, right? What was that recording?
Yes, well, let me get to that part of my notes.
Y'all get my likes up.
As you get to your notes, I will give you another good question for you. This is from I Do Voodoo 1. Elizabeth, I forgot what skincare you use. What shorthand program are you using? You rock. So if you want to answer that, or you want to answer the more serious question about the recording as you get to your notes.
I mean, I can always answer about skincare. It's toner, it's retinol, it's serum, it's face mask, it's Vaseline lip moisturizer, and it's a lot of water. So
and it's working.
I love answering those types of questions. Thank you. Honestly, when that question was posed to me yesterday, I was kind of like, is it because my skincare looks good, or is it because I'm sweating out here because it's so hot? But we're okay. And I found that point in my notes, so I can tell you guys all about what we did here as far as this particular iPhone recording. And so it was a conversation that was recorded by, I believe it was Diddy recording this on an iPhone, because that's kind of what they did during these hotel sessions and these hotel nights. And so one of the conversations was recorded about Jane wanting the escorts to wear a condom. And so when we first hear the exhibit, because again, we can't see it, but we can hear this audio, the jurors can see this, so you can hear voices. It's all jumbled up. I'm kind of like, what is this that we're hearing? And Jane said it was herself on this recording, Dawn, and Diddy on this recording. And she said during this video, she was asking Dawn to put on a condom, and Diddy said, what are you doing? What do you want? And so then Maureen Comey replays it again, and she kind of takes it piece by piece as far as what was being said. So Jane said, I think they're in the chair, and she was referring to as condoms. And then Diddy said something along the lines
I'm finna get ready to end because y'all not getting my likes up.
Touch yourself right now. And then Jane was explaining, I understand that my request was going to be denied. And then Maureen Comey asked, well, why did you need permission from Mr. Combs for an escort to have sex with your body? And then Jane's getting pretty emotional here. And then Jane herself responded, I don't know, I'm still trying to process everything. And then there was an objection from the defense. They had a sidebar. And then when they came back from this sidebar, Maureen Comey asked again, why didn't you insist that Dawn wear a condom. And Jane responded, I didn't want to disappoint my lover. He wouldn't be in a good mood or satisfied with the night if she were to continue asking this. And she said for the most part, Diddy preferred for the escorts to not be wearing rubbers or condoms when they're having sex with her. She said that he doesn't like seeing these on the escort's body. And so it was just an interesting kind of recording to kind of hear out in court. At first I was like, what are these words? Like, I really couldn't comprehend it. But as they broke it down, I was kind of like, oh, okay, now I can see where they're kind of going with this a little bit.
So, got a great compliment just came in from Donnie ZTV. Thank you so much for this super chat comment. Jesse, you and Elizabeth rock. So thank you so much. Very kind of you to say. Okay, we did have a question here from Shop Girl. And I don't know if you were in court for this. We saw reporting about it. What was the extent of Diddy's aggravation when he was obviously angry speaking to his attorneys? There was something reported about that. I think the jury had been excused maybe on a break, and he was quite animated speaking with his attorneys. Did you see anything like that?
I didn't see anything like that. It might have been a point where I stepped out to use the restroom, but I mean, wow, I'm just hearing this for the first time, so I didn't see it in person. So it's, unfortunately, I can't answer too much of your question. I think I might have just gone off to the restroom, I guess, when that moment might have happened.
So Elizabeth, would you agree with me and pick out the points? Do you feel that from today's testimony and a little bit from yesterday, they are solidifying transportation to engage in prostitution where
This is the fastest proven way to actually remove under eye bags with no Botox and no surgery.
Transportation to engage in prostitution where Diddy
if y'all didn't hit the like button, can y'all go ahead and leave so I can take the ones who have hit the like button on to the other.
You don't need force, fraud, or coercion necessarily.
I don't want to punish them because y'all not hitting my like button.
There's some highlights today that you say they got it in the bag for that.
I think so. For example, when we were seeing just the number of escort exhibits, we saw a man named Don. He was an escort that Jane and Diddy had used. And the last time she saw Don, this particular escort, I thought it was interesting. The last time that she had sex with him and during these hotel nights, even though sometimes they didn't always happen in hotels, the last time was August of 2024. So like just last month, or not last month, oh my goodness, last year, but a month before Diddy was arrested. Then there was an exhibit shown to the jury and to Jane. It was Paul the escort, and that Paul was used from 2021 until July of 2024. Jane thought that he was a personal trainer because he actually trained
Thank
Jane.
you for leaving. If you didn't hit the like button.
But I think the sticking point here is that she saw him in Los Angeles. She saw him in Miami. She saw him in Turks and Caicos. There was Leo, the escort, or also referred to as the Italian. She met him in 2022 on her birthday. The last time she saw him was in 2023, and that they would use him every so often, but she saw him in Los Angeles. There was an unnamed escort that she was shown an exhibit of, met him in 2021, and this was the escort that she said that she was repulsed by him, that he was super sweaty, he had smelled, she was hesitant with him, and that he was used in just different places too. So I think if anything, that the prosecution does have that working for them. I think it is still kind of up in the air as far as count 4 goes when it pertains to sex trafficking with Jane's specific count. But as far as just transportation to engage in prostitution, I think Maureen Comey is really kind of making great points here and there where it's like, well, where did you see this individual? Was it in Miami? Was it in Vegas? Was it in Los Angeles? And even for Dawn, for example, one of the first escorts that Jane had booked on her own, she was explaining that he was someone that they always flew out from Atlanta to wherever they were, either it be in Los Angeles or other places, and that they would be arranged, the travel as far as Dawn was concerned, would either be arranged by Jane herself, but she would be reimbursed by Diddy, or it'd be by Diddy's travel agent who would get everything going as far as making the flights for him and then flying him out from where his home was in Atlanta, Georgia, over to wherever Diddy and Jane were.
Just to clarify here, Elizabeth, what are the points you think the defense is going to jump on? And when I say that is, I'm reading the transcript, and there's certain parts of her testimony that I don't think are great for the prosecution. You know, I mentioned it before, but the idea of there was this sweaty individual, and it doesn't seem, unless I'm wrong, Combs forced her to actually continue sexual relations with him, that she still talks, like a loving relationship with Sean Combs, you know, that she wanted to be in his arms. She just wanted to be with him. She loved him. I mean, she was dating him up until his arrest in 2024, that she was the one who was writing sexually explicit messages to these sex workers, seemingly, you know, she says it was at Sean Combs' request. But are there certain avenues, certain points in her testimony today where you feel the defense is going to focus on, or you feel there are openings for the defense to exploit?
I think the defense is definitely going to ask Jane how she feels about Diddy today, as far as whether or not she still has feelings for him. Because I think there are times during her direct testimony where you can kind of feel like she is a little apprehensive. I don't know if it's about testifying in general, or that she may have kind of conflicted feelings where she was seeing this person up until September of 2024. They had a long relationship beginning all the way in 2021, not as long as Cassie and Diddy were together as far as that 11-year on and off period. But I think they're going to ask her, what are your thoughts on Diddy? Do you still love him? I think they're also going to ask her, you initiated some of these hotel nights. You were the one sending these messages to these entertainment or pornography stars, and you were the one making sure that you were bringing them to wherever you were. Were you a willing participant? Did you say no, or are you just saying that because the government called you? I feel like they're really going to poke holes in her story, possibly use her text messages against her, as they've done kind of with other witnesses, and possibly ask her, well, you were kind of getting something out of this, and that was her rent being paid for. Again, that rent being $10,000 a month, which I did the math wrong yesterday. I said it was 8 times more than my rent. It's 5 times more than my rent, but still, that's a lot of money to pay for rent for somebody else. But as far as just where the defense is going to poke holes, I think they kind of have a lot possibly working for them. I think one interesting thing, Jesse, is that there was a moment yesterday where the judge was asking, can everyone stay a little bit later, because they know that Jane has to get off the stand by Thursday because she has to make a flight. But Alexandra Shapiro stood up and was like, I can't stay late. And she was talking about it yesterday. She's like, I can't stay late today because I have this other event, but I really want to stay here for all of Jane's testimony because we believe she's one of the most important witnesses in the case. So I think that the defense knows just how important Jane's testimony is, but I think they definitely kind of have a lot working for them when they do eventually get to cross-examining her.
And by the way, if anybody has any questions for Elizabeth as we have our time with her, please submit them right now. Do you know if who's there on Diddy's side today? Is his family there?
Yeah, so we are seeing a lot of family members today. So, for example, we're seeing his sons, including, I almost said Tristan, but it's Justin and Christian. I'm sorry, everyone. I know today is Friday, and I'm feeling the Friday vibes. But also, Janice Combs was inside that courtroom today, too. His sister Keisha made an appearance today in court. She's been in there. Diddy's PR rep is in there. I think not on Diddy's side or anything, but I think notably someone in the courtroom today was Doug Wigder, who is Cassie's attorney. But as far as those who are who are on Diddy's side today, one of his really good friends and music producer, Charlucci, was there, and his youngest daughter's mother was in there in that courtroom too. So he has a lot of support kind of working on his side today, a little bit more support than maybe we've seen for other days. But as far as just his daughters, we haven't seen them since week 1 of trial. So I think that's something kind of interesting. But he does still have his support system there, including probably one of his favorite people, his sons and his mother there, and his sister too.
There's always a lot of conversation about what happened yesterday and what exactly he was doing with respect to the jury. And, the question is if he's nodding towards them. This is a guy who has been accused for the last 3-4 weeks of intimidating people, witnesses, alleged victims, assistants. So was he potentially trying to intimidate the jury? It also could be maybe he was feeling the high of a successful cross-examination of a key witness, Brianna Bongolan.
Does your denture move when you eat tough food? This shouldn't happen. Try Denture Fit because it fills voids caused by gum loss and eliminates
of a key witness, Brianna Bongolan, which we could talk about as well. But we got this question that came in from Ashley Glass. It's for you. If yesterday he was nodding at the jury, isn't that suspicious to him getting to a juror? Could they be compromised by Diddy? So I guess the question is there anything that you're observing here, Elizabeth, that would suggest Two questions. Anything that looks like the jury might be siding with the defense, whether it's any kind of cross-examination that you've seen so far, are they nodding, are they looking, are they responding positively to the defense? And number two, do they look like they're affected by Diddy's presence or behavior in that courtroom?
Well, I don't know if they're necessarily affected by his behavior, because I thought after yesterday, after the judge kind of admonishing Diddy, I thought maybe there would be kind of a change in maybe facial expressions as far as the jurors not kind of looking his way. But I think because of the way the layout of the courtroom is, you can't help but kind of look over in that way or anything like that. But as far as just kind of him looking at the jurors, and let me just say, he doesn't just look at the jurors, he looks at everybody in the gallery too. There are moments where even us on the press side, he does make eye contact with us. And myself, who's not a juror on this case, I myself find that kind of intimidating. So I can only imagine kind of how the jurors are feeling when they're getting kind of looks from the defendant himself. And I'm also wondering, as far as just him nodding along, it was something, again, that he was doing, I think, a little bit longer than when the judge kind of pointed it out. He did this for other witnesses while they were on the witness stand too. But taking back to the point of whether or not the jurors that I could see necessarily agreeing with the defense, or maybe that it got to them, I'm not sure. I remember, I think it was Daniel Phillip who was testifying, or it might have been the Punisher who was testifying, where I did see one juror kind of nodding along too, and I believe the just kind of him looking at the jurors. And let me just say, he doesn't just look at the jurors, he looks at everybody in the gallery too. There are moments where even us on the press side, he does make eye contact with us. And myself, who's not a juror on this case, I myself find that kind of intimidating. So I can only imagine kind of how the jurors are feeling when they're getting kind of looks from the defendant himself. And I'm also wondering, as far as just him nodding along, it was something, again, that he was doing, I think, a little bit longer than when the judge kind of pointed it out. He did this for other witnesses while they were on the witness stand too. But taking back to the point of whether or not the jurors that I could see necessarily agreeing with the defense, or maybe that it got to them, I'm not sure. I remember, I think it was Daniel Phillip who was testifying, or it might have been the Punisher who was testifying, where I did see one juror kind of nodding along too, and I believe the attorney who cross-examined both of those men was Xavier Donaldson, kind of nodding along to his line of cross-examination. But even as far as today goes, which we haven't gotten to the cross, it's still under the direct, so the prosecution's still asking those questions. I haven't seen much of a reaction from them, but they're really kind of hard to read sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, are they really interested? Sometimes I'm like, are they jotting notes down pertaining to testimony? Are they possibly writing their own grocery list down? Because when you're inside that courtroom for hours on end listening to this really graphic stuff, sometimes I'm wondering, like, are they really paying attention? But from what I can see, and from what the judge has even kind of complimented on, is it seems that everyone is paying attention to what's going on inside the courtroom.
Got one more question for you. This is from Jonathan Berry. Who is coming up after Jane, Elizabeth?
I do not know who's coming up after Jane. I'm very curious to see. I think a lot of us are possibly wanting to hear from somebody that we've been hearing a lot about, and that being KK or Christina Karam. But the government hasn't given any indication if she'll take the stand, and if she does take the stand, when that'll be. But I do think what the government is gearing up for is just their summary witness to eventually take the stand, and that person's going to really kind of wrap up everything together, probably show some demonstrative exhibits as far as just these different charts and how the escorts were flown out on certain days and all of that stuff. So I think for sure we're getting kind of possibly, maybe, depending on how you look at it, close to the end of the government's case. But I don't want to put words in their mouth just in case we see maybe 20 more witnesses down the line, and I don't want y'all to get mad at me when that happens.
No one will ever get mad at you. Don't you know that by now, Elizabeth? Elizabeth, thank you so much. Great reporting as always. A lot to break down here. We're going to take your questions and allow Elizabeth to jump back into the courtroom. Okay.
If something important was going to
okay, y'all, if you haven't hit the like button, please go ahead and exit. Please.
I wanted to give you an afternoon update.
Please. Yeah, because if I don't see at least 12 more likes, I'm finna end this bad baby. Hold on. Show is just like that, just like that. I don't want to play no more. I don't want to play no more. I'm finna get ready.
His presence or behavior in that courtroom.
Because you were scared that he would
ask her, well, you were kind of getting something out of this, and that was her rent being paid for.
Let's see
Again, that
something.
rent being $10,000 a month, which I did the math wrong yesterday. I said it was 8 times more than my rent. It's 5 times more than my rent in their mouth, just in case.
That's the question. That's the question. Okay, Mina, great. Got one more question for you. This is from Jonathan Berry. Who is coming up after Jane, Elizabeth?
Had to do with some physical harm. He's a domestic abuser, which he's not getting prosecuted for. He's a freaky guy, which he's not getting prosecuted for. So that is a very, very open question, and I think that the defense will take it directly and use that and ride that all the way to closing argument. Now, that said, what you want to be able to say in the prosecution is that she is a victim and that she is doing things she would not be doing otherwise. He threatened with violence. He held things over her head. She was clearly doing things that she didn't want to do that were not voluntary. She talks about her first sexual experience, which was great, and that was fantastic. And then after that, she opens a Pandora's box she couldn't close, and these types of things. So they know what the risk is in terms of what they have to do to prosecute their case, and that the jury has to think a certain way about this. But if I'm the defense, of course, I'm asking the same question this person just asked. How is any of this criminal? It's crazy, it's freaky, might be morally wrong, but what makes it legally?
So I think there's a couple of things here. And I think, one, transportation to engage in prostitution. We can't forget about that charge. If she's talking about the, Combs and his assistants or her literally transporting sex workers for the purposes of sex work and she's joining, that helps. That's that charge. If you talk about the idea of her transporting drugs to different locations, that could be one of the underlying predicate crimes for racketeering, right? Drug offenses. And then coercion, right? She hasn't gotten to the alleged violence yet, which I think is going to be coming if you base it off of the opening statement. But if she's talking about him having financial control over her and, kind of pressuring her into these sexual episodes even after she got sick, or whether or not it was dismissive about her concerns over the performers wearing condoms, it's not as strong of coercion as you've seen in other sex trafficking cases, but perhaps it's the building blocks towards that. And that's the question. Okay, Mina, great to see you. Got another super chat question coming in. This was from Tony Topes. Hey, Jesse, do you think Lil Rod will testify? I throw it to you.
It's a possibility. A lot of what Little Rod has said in his civil complaint is coming up in this federal complaint and this federal trial. And it would be interesting to see if they do bring Little Rod up, who is a producer and has a very lengthy civil complaint that we're now learning there are a lot of facts in there that are also being presented in this trial. It'll be interesting to see because he's quite a character and he has a lot of personality, Little Rod.
Yeah, definitely. I just don't think he's going to play a role in this. And by the way, if you look at pretrial filings, there was a mention of producer one. I think an argument could be made that was Lil Rod, and the indication was from the defense that they weren't going to be calling him. And maybe there's something to that. A lot of his charges have been, a lot of the accounts that he, the claims that he had filed in his lawsuit were dismissed. And perhaps there is a weakness to the case, or perhaps he doesn't fit into the overall narrative by which the prosecution is going forward. Okay, Mauricio, this is from Nestdog, another super chat question. Thank you so much. Don't the feds only need 2 of the 8 charges? So I think they're saying, don't you need only 2 of the several underlying predicate crimes for racketeering?
Yeah, that's all they need. It's not a difficult thing for them to overcome regarding the facts in this case. But yeah, all they need is 2, which it seems to me they're going to get there.
I think they've done it. I mean, Joe, I think they've done it. If you talk about forced labor, which, by the way, put aside kidnapping, Capricorn Clark, arson, Kid Cudi, sex trafficking, Cassie. I mean, it's not proven beyond the reasonable doubt. I mean, it'll be to the jury, but I think they've checked the boxes. I was thinking about something, Joe, is if they keep saying to her and saying to Cassie, was this work? Was this work? Was engaging in these sexual episodes work? He's taking care of her financially. Is this forced labor? One of the underlying crimes of racketeering?
I think that the prosecution, of course, can argue that it is forced labor, but they still have the square peg in the round hole problem. There's a lot of things that, there's 7 or 8 different things, each of which could.
This is not a scam. The Health Food Allowance card is available for those on Medicare. This card can.
RICO, you can take a bunch of stuff with racketeering, throw it in a bowl, mix it around, and it's almost like you don't pay as much attention to the crime itself, whether you're talking about the arson, whether you're talking about some of these other things. It's almost like they don't pay quite as much attention, and there's not quite as much proof or combing out, for lack of a better term, no pun intended, of the actual crime, unless versus if the crime was being prosecuted in and of itself. And so the question becomes, are the predicate crimes there? Yeah, you can take a couple of them and put them there, etc. But all the jury has to do, of course, is believe the testimony and be good with the testimony. Is it there by itself? Yeah, a couple of them are there, but it's still RICO, and it feels a little bit different because even what you're talking about, Jesse, well, she was forced to do this, and she's doing this, and she's overworking these hours, etc. This is the first time a jury, these regular folks in their daily lives, have looked at facts like this and been asked to extract forced labor from it, if that's the ask. Wow. And so that's what the risk is, because it looks a little bit different because you're going under a RICO charge.
I think this case comes down to closing arguments, trying to articulate, what did we just hear for 8 weeks? How does Kid Cudi relate to Jane? And I think they might be confused at this point, but it'll be up for the prosecution to clearly outline and articulate it. And these jury instructions, so important. Mina, we got another super chat question. This is from Kinga Seraphin. How long do you think it will take the prosecution to rest their case? And most important question, Jesse, what's your skincare love? What's your skincare? Love from Poland. Very kind question. I will get to that too. See, they felt that I was left out of the skincare conversation. I appreciate that. I'll get to that on the second part. Mina, how long do you think it's going to take the prosecution to rest their case?
Well, the judge said he's looking at July 4th to wrap up by July 4th. Initially, they were saying this was going to take about 6 weeks. Now they're pushing it more towards 8 weeks. So, and then we also have the problem of some people not wanting to testify. So that can cut down on the time that they possibly had to, that they factored in as an estimation. But according to the judge, he said he's looking to wrap up by July 4th.
Good. I mean, we'll see. There's always wrenches that are thrown in there. Who knows how long this deliberation process may last? They may take a half a day or a full day to determine whether or not Cassie is credible, whether or not Mia is credible, whether or not Jane is credible. And if they have weaknesses in one of those witnesses, does it play into a potential weakness in the overall case? I'm not sure. I think this jury deliberation process is going to take quite some time. Oh, and as for my skincare process, you ever see Mission Impossible? No, I'm just kidding. No, it's moisturizer.
Do you exfoliate, Jesse?
I exfoliate, I moisturize, I'm on TV. My wife taught me all about this. By the way, got a question here from Tia215. Hello, Jesse. How are you? How's your day today? Hope all is well. It is. I'm having a great day. But talk about skincare. I got this sty in my eye. I'm fighting that. So it's it's a battle on all fronts. But what can I say? All right. Got a question here from ATX Stanley. Can you explain, I'll throw this to you, Mauricio. Can you explain the balancing test the judge uses to determine if a witness can testify anonymously? So example, Jane, Mia. Does the government have to prove up the need for a pseudonym? That's a great question.
It is a great question, and I don't want to say the wrong answer. I haven't researched it. I'm gonna just say that the balancing test probably has to do with whether or not they're victims or whether or not they qualify as a victim. But if anybody else on the panel has a direct response, I don't know.
I'll throw it to you, Joe. But the way that I understand it, at least from a civil context, Joe, and this came up a lot.
Okay, y'all, I'm finna get ready to go.
Was facing not every Jane.
Oh, I need to show. Yeah, y'all playing with me. I've been on here too long for this.
Building your business is like planting a seed.
Yeah, y'all
At the Payroll
playing.
Company, we help you grow your team from hiring to on.
He ate a 2-pot.
Elizabeth, it is good to see.
So y'all not gonna hit the like button? Okay.
All right, here we go. Roger Bonds. Welcome back to Vlad TV.
Salute, General. Salute.
Man, the last interview was massive.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. People still hit you about that like pretty much every day, huh?
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day. They said, yo, did you get your money for that interview? I said, yeah, we good. We good.
That's right. That's right. Well, the trial has started. Because last time he had been arrested, he was facing trial, but now the trial has started. Now, have you been called to testify?
No, I haven't.
Okay. But didn't the feds reach out to your lawyer at one point?
I'm not even sure. The lawyer said that they would get back in touch with me, and if anything was anything, and they never got back in touch with me about anything.
Okay, but they did.
Who's gonna be the best closer?
I know either they touch bases or my lawyer touch bases. I know they did touch bases.
Got it.
I don't know.
If they called you and asked you to testify, would you do it?
I'm sure that still got for
I'm always
the
going to
defense.
stand up for what's right. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if they call me to testify, I'm not going to not testify. If you call me to testify, I'm going to testify. Now, whether I plead the
Do y'all think he gonna testify? Is he saying he gonna testify?
Got it. Well, from what I understand, a lot of the people who are testifying are given immunity because they potentially are part of some of these crimes and so forth.
Right.
Is Bonds testifying because Diddy didn't give him that money? Now you talking about a money grab, person. Why you ain't saying nothing about that before I go? Hold on. Is Bonds testifying, willing to testify because Diddy didn't give him that money for his son? Huh? Or is he been born again and he feel the Redeemer, you know, trying to get his life right, what have you? Is he testifying or willing to testify? Because Diddy didn't give him that money. Because even when he didn't know he was in the the lawsuit, I'm talking about Bonds, Diddy knew that he was going to be brought up, drugged all through it. So, is he testifying because Diddy didn't give him that money? Or what? Because he really is a co-conspirator right along with, during that time, KK and D-Rock. And old girl told us that, yeah, I'm finna get ready to go, that witness number 2, Jane Doe, is the last victim, but not the last witness. So is he willing to testify because Diddy didn't give him the $20K or whatever amount that he was asking
to testify?
No, I haven't.
Okay. But didn't the feds reach out to your lawyer at one point?
I'm not even sure.
You
The
are
lawyer
sure.
said
You
that they
know.
would get back in touch with me, and if anything was anything, and they never got back in touch with me about it.
If they need
Okay, but
him,
they
he
did
will
touch base with
testify.
your lawyer at one point.
I know either they touch bases or my lawyer touch bases. I know they did touch bases.
Got it. If they called you and asked you to testify, would you do it?
I mean, it depends. I mean, I'm always going to stand up for what's right. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if they call me to testify, I'm not going to not testify. If you call me to testify, I'm going to testify. Now, whether I plead the fifth or whatever, I'm going to go and I'm going to testify.
Got it. Well, from what I understand, a lot of the people who are testifying are given immunity because they potentially are part of some of these crimes and so forth.
Right.
In one way or another. So, a bunch of the witnesses have immunity. So if they gave you immunity, would you be down to basically say everything?
I'm going to tell you the truth, man. A lot of these things that they talking about, a lot of stuff that they talking about, like when they talk about D-Rock running in the Suge Knight, when they talk about some of the stuff, I've just by the grace of God was either off that day or either was in New York that day, and I would hear about those things when I got back. So I think it was like, God giving me a blessing not to be there or be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't have no problem testifying about what I played a part in because I feel like I was an employee, period. You know what I'm saying? Point blank. That wasn't my man. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, he ran a company, a Fortune 500 company. It wasn't like he ran no gangster company. He ran a Fortune 5 company, and I was happy to be a part of it.
I mean, would you say friends?
Yeah, I say that. But now when I look back on it, he don't have no friends. You know what I'm saying? And that's a real, like some people would be like, nah, because you could think something is something that is really not. You know what I'm saying? And I thought
So all these people thought that he loved them.
He'd be like, yo, I am my brother, be that. You know what I'm saying?
He drinking that baby oil like it's a rock, ain't it?
It wasn't like he ran no gangster company. He ran a Fortune 5 company, and I was happy to be a part of it.
I mean, would you say by the end of your time there that you
One would say,
yeah, I would.
Does Dre get a pass at being such a notorious woman beater because he makes good music?
Andre went up there and got him a special watch and gave it to me in front of everybody. He basically confessed his love to man. Another man confessed his love to another man. See, every time you see one, you see another one. Next thing you know, start painting their fingernails.
It appears Luenell has delivered the final blow to Diddy's reputation. As her unearthed interview suggests, he's allegedly been engaging in eerie rituals with Dr. Dre. So what exactly is going on? For starters, Suge Knight has claimed that Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre are among those involved in a secret society with Diddy. On an episode of Collect Call with Suge Knight that premiered on March 11th via Dave Mays Breakbeat Media, the former music mogul suggests
I
that
got
rappers
plenty of
painting their
tea.
nails and buying Diddy gifts
But
are
I'ma
indications
wait
of them being
until
a part of an exclusive group.
Now,
they hitting the like button.
One would say, does Dre get a pass at being
No,
such a
Dre
notorious
don't. Dre don't get no
woman beater
pass.
because he makes good music?
No, he don't get no pass. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay, y'all. I'll see y'all later.
So I think it was like, God giving me a blessing not to be there or be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't have no problem testifying about what I played a part in because I feel like I was an employee. Period. You know what I'm saying? Point blank. That wasn't my man. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, he ran a company, a Fortune 500 company. It wasn't like he ran no gangster company. He ran a Fortune 5 company, and I was happy to be a part of it.
I mean, would you say by the end of your time there that you and Puffy were friends?
Yeah, I say that. But now when I look back on it, he don't have no friends. You know what I'm saying? And that's a real, like some people be like, nah, because you could think something is something that is really not. You know what I'm saying? And I thought we was friends. I thought
Just like
at
them
the end of
girls
the
thought
night,
that
you
that
know what I'm
was her
saying, when he be like, yo, I am my brother's
boyfriend.
keeper. At the end of the night, when he say I love you and you say, yo, I love you back.
Just like those girls thought that that was their boyfriend, and
they to heart.
and all they wore were his Pawn Stars.
I say that, but now when I look back on it, he don't have no friends. You know what I'm saying? And that's a real, like some people be like, nah, because you could think something is something that is really not. You know what I'm saying? And I thought we was friends. I thought at the end of the night, you know what I'm saying, when he be like, yo, I am my brother's keeper. At the end of the night, when he say I love you and you say, yo, I love you back. When you part of the streets, you take that to heart. But when you mastered the business, you realize that's part of the business. You know what I'm saying? And I think he mastered the business. He tell you what you want to hear.
He tell you what you want to hear.
By the end of your time there, that you and Puffy were friends?
Yeah, I say that. But now when I look back on it, he don't have no friends. You know what I'm saying? And that's a real, like some people be like, nah, because you could think something is something that is really not. You know what I'm saying? And I thought we was friends. I thought at the end of the night, you know what I'm saying, when he be like, yo, I am my brother's keeper. At the end of the night, when he say I love you and you say, yo, I love you back. When you part of the streets, you take that to heart. But when you
all of them are finding out
about some of the stuff
that it was just an illusion.
Okay. But didn't the feds reach out to your lawyer at one point?
I'm not even sure. The lawyer said that they would get back in touch with me, and if anything was anything, and they never got back in touch with me about anything.
Okay, but they did touch base with your lawyer at one point.
I know either they touch bases or my lawyer touch bases. I know they did touch bases.
Got it. If they called you and asked you to testify, would you do it?
I mean, it depends. I mean, I'm always going to stand up for what's right. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if they call me to testify, I'm not going to not testify. If you call me to testify, I'm going to testify. Now, whether I plead the fifth or whatever, I'm going to go and I'm going to testify.
Got it. Well, from what I understand, a lot of the people who are testifying are given immunity because they potentially are part of some of these crimes and so forth.
Right.
In one way or another. So, a bunch of the witnesses have immunity. So if they gave you immunity, would you be down to basically say everything?
I'm going to tell you the truth, man. A lot of these things that they talking about, a lot of stuff that they talking about, like when they talk about D-Rock running in the Suge Knight, when they talk about some of the stuff, I've just, by the grace of God, was either off that day or either was in New York that day, and I would hear about those things when I got back. So I think it was like, God giving me a blessing not to be there or be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't have no problem testifying about what I played a part in because I feel like I was an employee, period. You know what I'm saying? Point blank. That wasn't my man. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, he ran a company, a Fortune 500 company. It wasn't like he ran no gangster company. He ran a Fortune 5 company, and I was happy to be a part of it.
I mean, would you say by the end of your time there that you and Puffy were friends?
Yeah, I say that. But now when I look back on it, he don't have no friends. You know what I'm saying? And that's a real, like some people be like, nah, because you could think something is something that is really not. You know what I'm saying? And I thought we was friends.
Just like he thought that it was a Fortune 500 company, and it wasn't. Just like them girls thought that was their boyfriend, and it wasn't. It was all a dream. What y'all thought it was not to Diddy. It was never that to Diddy. Diddy played in all their faces. He pulled them into this enterprise, this corrupt enterprise, unbeknownst to them. He started out all cool, calm, collective. I'm down for you. You my brother. I got you. All of that. And it wasn't true.
Today, he ran a company, a Fortune 500 company. It wasn't like he ran no gangster company. He ran a Fortune 5 company, and I was happy to be a part of it.
I mean, would you say by the end of your time there that you and Puffy were friends?
Yeah, I say that. But now when I look back on it, He don't have no friends. You know what I'm saying? And that's a real, like some people be like, nah, because you could think something is something that is really not. You know what I'm saying? And I thought we was friends. I thought at the end of the night, you know what I'm saying, when he be like, yo, I am my brother's keeper. At the end of the night, when he say I love you and you say, yo, I love you back. When you part of the streets, you take that to heart. But when you mastered the business, you realize that's part of the business.
This is part of the business.
You know what I'm saying? And I think he mastered the
Sean
business.
Combs trial catches Diddy's hand in an actual paper bag full of cash. Now this video, we've all seen it, it shows Combs beating Cassie Ventura inside the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles. A former security guard for the Intercontinental named Eddie Garcia testified with immunity that in the days after the hallway beating, Combs called the hotel repeatedly, begging to buy the video. And Garcia said Combs did just that. Garcia said Combs told him to bring the video on a USB thumb drive to an office near the hotel, and there in that office, Garcia said he watched as Combs used a money counting machine and that, quote, there were stacks of money being put into it, stacks of $10,000 at a time. Prosecutors call the cash a bribe. They say that Combs hoped it would buy and bury the Intercontinental Hotel surveillance video so that no one would ever see it. And this is the first time we've heard that Combs may have had a direct role in alleged cover-up, with his hand actually in that bag of cash. This is called by both the prosecution and the defense the single most important piece of evidence in the trial. Prosecutors have already said this video captures Combs in the very act of sex trafficking Ventura, in the act of coercing her through physical force into engaging in commercial sex acts. In this case, that means forcing her to have sex with a male escort who Ventura said was still inside their hotel room when Combs hit her in the eye and she ran out of the room. But Combs is also charged in his indictment with racketeering, and that count requires proof of at least 2 underlying crimes. Prosecutors can now argue that this video, this single piece of evidence, implicates